AFL Grand Final, played at the Melbourne Cricket Ground on Saturday the 24th of September between West Coast Eagles and Sydney Swans. The teams: West Coast Eagles, backs Wirraponda, Glass, Hunter, half-backs Chick, Gasper, Banfield, centres Stingline, Cousins, Embley, half-forwards Kerr, Hanson, Staker, forwards Sampy, Gardner, Matera, rucks Cox, Fletcher, Judd, interchange Nikoski, Seaby, Selwood, Butler, coach John Worsfield. Sydney Swans, backs Crouch, Barry, Roberts, Thompson, half-backs Matthews, C. Bolton, Kennelly, centres Buchanan, Goods, Dempster, half-forwards O'Keefe, Hall, J. Bolton, forwards Williams, O'Loughlin, Davis, rucks Jolly, Kirk, Luke Ablett, interchange Ball, Fosdyke, Snyder, Bevan, coach Paul Roos. Changes to selected sides. West Coast Eagles, Matera, groin injury, replaced by Green. Umpires, Goldspink, Allen and McLaren. Attendance 91,828. Weather fine. Norm Smith Medal for the best player in the grand final was won by Chris Judd of the West Coast Eagles. The Brownlow Medal for 2005 was won by Ben Cousins of the West Coast Eagles.
Cox might have won the hit out for the West Coast Eagles. It comes underfoot and they scramble for the football. It's not appearing and the umpire will start again. Umpire Darren Goldspink.
And there's a blue on beyond the play. Hunter and O'Loughlin are at it. Paul Williams has gone forward. Andrew Embley has gone to him. So Andrew Embley is playing something like about 15 metres out from the goals.
The bounce, it comes down to Judd, gets the hand pass to Wirraponda in midfield. He kicks to Hanson, who shrugs off his opponent, Roberts Thompson, and Hanson takes the mark at right half forward for the Eagles. Too far out to score. Kicks long towards full forward. Gardner is there, but he's held down. And chipping in front is the Irishman, Ty Kennelly, taking the first mark for the Swans. Hand pass away to O'Loughlin. Hand pass further afield to Craig Bolton. Beautiful pass, and O'Keefe takes the mark. In between half-back and centre wing, Cricket Club side of the ground. He kicks to true centre wing. Look at the ground, Kennelly is covered. He gets an awkward bouncing ball. Can he keep it alive? He was out, the ball was in. And his kick is disappointing inside the 50. Chopped off by Embley for the Eagles.
Embley has a run through defensive 50, looks up the wing and finds Cousins. He just settles himself, the Brownlow medalist. Looks inboard and he sees matchups wherever he looks. One breaks for him and he delivers short to Staker. Just short of the interchange area. Staker comes inboard, gains no territory and kicks it to Hunter. And he has a crowded setup ahead of him. All bar two players forward of Hunter. He has to kick short and he finds Kerr. Kerr with the next decision to make. He kicks to the boundary and Banfield leads up.
Very
patient.
second
medallion.
They're very, very patient. They just stand and wait, hit a lead.
It's hard to find a target. Banfield gets some momentum around the boundary and has his kick smothered by Nick Davis, who was awake to it. And it ricochets out of play. Peter Brookner, the first change.
The first change, West Coast, Staker off, Nikoski on.
Boundary thrown in front of the Eagles interchange bench. And a big crowd gathers for the tap. Cox gets his hand to it. Kerr grabs the footy, slips over, got his hand pass to Fletcher. Now to Judd. Waits the hand pass well to Nikoski. 45 out. The first of the grand final goes to Nikoski. Splendid shot at goal. He was deep in the pocket, but he had time and space. He measured it to perfection. And Mark Nikoski, who would have been a bolter to kick that first goal.
Up the bench, so when he was named as an interchange player, he'd have been triple figure odds to be the first goal kicker of the grand final. There's the bounce. Cox, I don't think, had his eyes for the ball. It comes to Kirk for Sydney. Standing start kick, a high ball, Hall in front. Can't take the mark. He gets spoiled from behind. Comes back into a pack. Kirk had followed up from the middle. Gets it back. Williams works it across the hall. Is taken by Glass. Hall slips the hand pass away. And a hurried kick by Ablett. Bounces inside the 50. O'Loughlin has his hand pass knocked down. Chance for Schneider. Free kick O'Loughlin. Inside 50 for the Sydney Swans. Michael O'Loughlin taken by the jumper by Adam Hunter and dragged to the ground after the ball had gone. And he'll kick from about 50. At the City end of the ground. The Eagles have the only goal. Michael O'Loughlin for the Swans first. Stuttering start. Gets to 50. Hooks it. Out of bounds on the full. No score.
Seen a few nerves there, I think.
Absolutely. Got much too close to the man on the mark too.
Not really his range, though, was it?
No, he was straining. Some interesting matchups, boys. Ablett to Judd. Matthews has followed Kerr in the midfield. Young Selwood is on Goods. Dempster has picked up Cousins.
Cox restarts play with a long kick. It bounces toward the wing. Goods traps the footy. Spins inboard. Gave his hand pass to Matthews. Just lost his direction. Has to kick for the wing. Bouncing ball. Fletcher and Jude Bolton. Neither can win it. Fletcher follows up. Cousins reached it out of traffic. Ran into a tackle. Had to hand pass backwards. O'Loughlin's got to go for the Swans. He did it well. Hand pass to Kirk. Around the body in the Hall O'Keefe direction. O'Keefe dropped the mark. Goods goes and wins the footy. He's 52 out. He sets it up to full forward. It'll bounce near the square. Away from Buchanan. And we're under and out of play in the pockets. The Eagles a goal. Sydney yet to score.
Kerr's limping in the middle of the ground now. He's struggling through the middle of the ground. He's been hit from pillar to post in tackles, bumps.
Sean Dempster, what a task. A first-year player on the Brownlow medalist. The throw-in forward pocket for the Swans. It comes to Judd, who puts on the afterburners, beats a tackle, couple of bounces, gets the centre half back. Brilliant football by last year's Brownlow winner. Kicks out towards centre wing. Sampy gets an awkward ball at his shins, taken by Williams. Sampy has him. Williams from his backside gets the hand pass away to Crouch. Hurried kick towards the half-forward line. Bad bounce for Barry Hall, straight over his head, past Glass as well. And beautifully bumped over the boundary line was Glass by O'Keefe. And the ball out of play just inside 50, and the Swans back in attack. The Eagles, one goal. The Swans yet to score. The 6 minutes opening term.
Tackles have been very fierce, and they take the body, making sure they really work the player out.
Cox got rid of Jolly illegally. Darren Goldsmith was there to call it in the back, and it will be a shot at goal for Darren Jolly.
I think the only way to play Cox in boundary throw-ins is you must get in front of him, because he is 203, 204 centimetres, and if you take front posse, you're more than likely going to win a free kick.
Eagles fans didn't like the free kick.
Certainly there.
The replay shows two hands, middle of the back.
It's a 45-degree angle right of centre, and Darren Jolly has kicked 9 goals for the season. He's on the approach to 45. Right foot drop punt, split the middle. One goal each after 6 minutes.
How's the McCoskey-Jolly double? That'll be 1,000 away.
Yeah. Well, that's one that pinched.
Yeah,
because
to allow the big fella in Embley to go forward to get the game where they wanted to have it.
Cox wins the hit out in the middle. Hand pass to Judd. Judd's hand pass to Wirrapunda. And the midfield of the Eagles setting up beautifully here. Cox has gone forward from the hit out, and he's at half forward now, knocking the ball to his own advantage, but runs out of room. And it's a boundary throw in at right half forward for the Eagles. Scores level. Peter Bruckner.
Yes, Judd limping off the ground. He looks like he's got a kick in the shin, and he'll get some treatment. He's being replaced by Butler, and at the same time, Matthews comes off because he was tagging him and Schneider on.
Sorry, Judd or Kerr?
No, Kerr.
Yeah, Kerr on the
grand final nerves.
Judd on the ground and absolutely killing them. Here's a free kick to Cox from the boundary throw in the ruck. And Dean Cox has the free kick about 75 metres from goal. No, it's going to
Judd.
Judd.
Yeah, held off the contest again.
He's been very good so far, Judd.
Magnificent. The kick by Judd to full forward. Up goes Gardner. Can't take the mark. It comes to the front of the pack. Clears by Fosdyke for the Swans. He kicks to open territory and says, get on your bike, get after that one. O'Keefe there. Green with him. Green takes it away and the ball socket off the ground and bounces just inside the line, and we'll have a throw in right near Peter Bruckner at the interchange, right at the interchange gate, centre wing. at the Melbourne Cricket Club side of the ground. Scores level, a goal apiece, 8 minutes first term.
Cox and Jolly still doing battle arms around each other. Comes to the front, Nikoski got his way through traffic. He kicked a barrel on the left to full forward, read well by Roberts-Thompson, who drifted back as the ball kept carrying and took the mark. Hansen gives him a bit of a nudge. Not much in it. Umpire on the scene just to set the mark.
3 half forwards are currently facing the kicker.
Roberts-Thompson to the northern side of the ground and finds Fosdyke. Still inside defensive 50. Goods makes a lead for him. He is ignored for the time being. Fosdyke now goes to a contest on the wing. With the flight came ball. He couldn't take the mark. Ablett's there at the back of the pack to push it out of play. At the interchange area, again, where there's plenty of activity, Peter Brookner.
There's plenty of action. Swans have changed their ruckman. Jolly off, ball on.
Peter, have you got any word on Kirk?
Yes, he's got a knock to the lower leg, and they're working on him at the moment. I don't think it's too serious.
Ball got his fist to the footy in a grapple. Ablett was held up by Judd. Judd got a hand pass out, but gave it straight to Dempster of the Swans. Now to Kirk. Kirk to 50. Read well by Green, who takes the defensive mark for the Eagles.
Casey Green in for the Eagles, and Philip Matera not taking his place. Across the ground he goes to Chad Fletcher. He kicks to a contest. Brooks humps the ball forward magnificently. Jude Bolton for the Swans gathers. Kicks deep inside the 50. It bounces beautifully. Oh, Buchanan taken to ground. Bounces the umpire. Taken by Green, blindsided beautifully by O'Loughlin. Might have been holding it, Green. It spills to Goods, gives up the hand pass, intercepted by Glass at half-back. His kick smothered, luckily comes back to Darren Glass. Gets it again, up to Stenglein, kicks over the wing, out it back into the sunshine. Just forward of the wing for the Eagles. A scrap at ground level. In goes Hansen, might have had one in the back. Lyons is the umpire. Think he'll sort it out with the ball up, and he lets it go. Chick trying to burst his way through. Roberts-Thompson molested by Hansen, and Roberts-Thompson will take the free kick for the Sydney Swans. And off the play, Michael O'Loughlin being seen to by a trainer, not looking too good.
And Hunter's tried to hit him and missed him and fallen over.
Kick by Roberts-Thompson. Up over the centre wing for the Swans, taken by Stenglein. Knocked down. Taken by Nick Davis. Back to Roberts-Thompson, who's kicked up towards half forward, and in front is Ball against his old side. Played in the premiership for the Eagles. Takes the mark in his final game for Sydney. Kicks to half forward. Wirapunda magnificently gets in front and takes the mark on defensive 50.
She's been influential already, Wirapunda. He spreads it across half back and finds Cousins. Cousins looks up the wing. Sampy's on a hard lead toward the boundary. That's where the kick goes and reaches him. Crouch can do nothing but stand the mark. Sampy has a look. Gardner's on a long lead. Too long now. Sampy will have to go deeper. Chicks his target. He flies against Craig Bolton. Leo Barry at the fall of the ball. Gives his hand pass to Kennelly. Close to the boundary. Checks his kick and spent it well. Put it onto the chest of Crouch. Left half back. In the sunshine under the southern stands. Buchanan makes a lead. He's ignored. He pops it up toward Cox and Ball. Makes the two big men work for it. Close to the boundary. Hand pass from Jude Bolton was indiscriminate. Taken by Cox to Green. Sweeping hand pass inboard to Wirapunda. A chance to set up. He kicks it very close to the boundary. It was almost marked by Fletcher, but almost won't count for much. Out of bounds. A goal apiece. Grandstand AFL on ABC Local Radio and Radio Australia.
Sydney seem to be keeping their forward formation better than what, well, not better, but more intact than what they have in previous weeks. They don't seem to be getting behind the ball as often.
Cox wins the boundary throw into Judd, who's won everything that Cox has won in the air. Judd has been outstanding. Kicks to full forward. Little hand pass, Craig Bolton backwards. Might have been dangerous, but cleared by Crouch with a sensational kick to Roberts-Thompson, who takes the mark at right half back for the Swans. Low scoring, a goal each, and we've been playing 13 minutes in the grand final. Does a low-scoring game suit the Eagles or the Swans?
Oh, it suits the Swans. There's no question about that. But having said that, it's a matter of really getting through to find out their strengths.
Barry.
Play around just to see where their strengths are on the day, just test people out.
Klosdyke marked the Roberts-Thompson kick, then kicked wide out near the boundary line to Barry Hall, who couldn't take the mark, and Wirapunda has given away a free kick to Barry Hall, and here is the Swan skipper at right half-back, deep in defence for the Red and Whites.
He kicks short, and the mark is taken by Crouch. Buchanan on a hard lead. He plays on quickly. He sets it up to 50. Judd seems well placed at the back. He couldn't take the mark. At the full, the ball was Banfield. Gave his hand pass to Cox. Suddenly the waters parted for him and he was able to kick outside 50. Wirapunda gathers at left half back. He took him on. Gave his hand pass to Hansen. Works his way onto the right and kicks forward of the wing. Gardner didn't take the mark. It dropped into the lap of Barry. He wasn't ready. Gardner tackles Barry. Works out his hand pass. Roberts-Thompson close to the boundary. Under pressure from Chick. Blazes quickly. Schneider punches it over the back. Gets it boundary side. O'Keefe keeps it in momentarily. No, the umpire's beaten him. Schneider's on his way to goal, but the whistle has sounded. There was going to be a photo finish and the boundary won out. Peter Bruckner.
Yes, Eagles have made a change in the forward line. Gasper on, Hansen off.
And the Swans fans are 150 metres away from that, many of whom probably had never seen an Aussie rules game until a year ago. All went crooked the umpire for calling that out of bounds. As the Swans got inside 50. Judd has been absolutely outstanding so far for the Eagles. He gets it from the boundary throw-in. He's happy to take it defensively through the defensive goal square. A couple of bounces, confidence. He kicks and the mark is dropped up here by Gasper and a chance for the Swans as it's taken by Roberts-Thompson. Bang, inside, centre half forward. A chance for Barry Hall with Glass. Oh, Hall grabbed him when Glass didn't have the ball. Free kick umpire. Barry gets away with it. The ball's over the boundary line.
Oh, a good one-on-one contest. I didn't mind that contest.
He's been good, Glass. Glass has been sensational.
Well, he's the best fullback in the comp. Make no mistake about it.
Fantastic.
Gasper's had to come on because Roberts-Thompson has really absolutely dominated across half-back line. And 6 possessions already.
And they're engraving Judd's name on the medal.
Scores level, Swans deep in attack. The tap goes back toward the boundary. Cousins will arrive first. He keeps it in. Couldn't do much with it. Got it under the left. Gained 3 or 4 metres as it tumbled off his boot and out of play.
Eagles have adopted a get them all in behind the ball. They've only got 4 players in front of the ball at the moment, which means that the blokes like Judd, Cousins, Wirapunda, and these sort of blokes can actually run through the line, so to create a Subiaco environment.
45 from the Sydney Gold. Heaved back into play. Cox got his fist to it, knocked it down to Banfield. Somehow got it back to Cox, who kicked too hurriedly. All he did was give it to Goods. 75 from goal. He goes for Barry Hall. Hall hits the pack, brings it to ground. Glass recovers best, spinning out of trouble, got one high. Free kick, Darren Glass.
I think Darren Glass, he deserved a free kick, but Hall certainly was grabbed before that ball went in there. Yeah. And grabbed by one arm, which gave him no chance of marking it.
So Hansen off the ground, an early victory to Roberts-Thompson. There's the free kick by Glass towards half-back flank. And a fly punch towards the boundary line. Well, it doesn't get out of bounds from Jason Ball. And it's taken by Chad Fletcher, who gets it up the ground to Dean Cox, who's running like a rover. Couple of bounces. This is Gabbo stuff. He gets to the 50. Kicks long.
Oh, great son.
You won't see better than that. Dean Cox, a magnificent goal for the Eagles. They lead 2 goals to 1 after 17 minutes.
That's that space I've been saying before the game, that they will use the wingers through the wing, and that will give them the opportunity to run from the wing, which you don't protect the wing and run forward. And that was just a great goal, but it's just typical of what they have to do to break that Subiaco length.
Only happens because Fletcher was superb, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Fletcher and winning that footy back in there and being able to release him, just superb.
That's a goal for memory in grand finals, that gathered on the logo and run all the way by Cox. And he has gone to the bench. Seaby wins the tap. Scramble for the ball in the middle. Kirk's the last man there, lying on his back. He held the footy in. He couldn't get it out. It does drift out now. Just clears the congestion. Buchanan with a hand pass to Crouch. He kicks across the ground, bounces on the logo. Goods leads up, caught by Banfield. Hand pass to Matthews, giving ground to Fosdyke. He's able to gather and give away 15 more metres, but still in possession. Lewis Roberts-Thompson has it. Inboard with a hand pass. Taken by Crouch. Kicks for half forward. Marking contest, no mark taken. Eagles with a chance to clear. The hand pass came out to Wirrpunda from Stengline. Now to Embley. Did some goose stepping. Cleared the congestion. Had a bounce. Kicks again for half forward. Judd's on the lead. Gathers the footy at the first bounce. Gives it to Fletcher. Fletcher into the pocket. Gardner's on the lead. It clears him. Bouncing ball to the goal line. Swans get back. And behind is conceded by Crouch. 2-1-13 the Eagles. One straight the Swans after 19 minutes.
Judd's had an unbelievable effect so far. He's had nine possessions. It's just about due for a little tweaking there, I reckon, of the one-on-ones to see where they can change it around.
I don't know if they got one.
Well, perhaps you've got to get the most negative player out there and just put him on him. Perhaps they've got to give Kirk a go at him. I mean, Kirk hasn't been great so far.
Especially as Stengline's tagging Kirk.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's a real classic chance to do it.
Put the two on the one.
Kennelly and Barry share the ball, bring it in until eventually Kennelly comes up the ground and the mark's taken by Craig Bolton. Didn't get a go at the Brisbane Lions and gets a grand final chance with the Swans. He's kicked towards centre wing, good ball put on, and Eamon Buchanan can't quite keep the ball in the field of play, and it's over the boundary line and we'll have a throw in. Cricket Club side of the ground. Interchange bench being used a lot. Players on and off with gay abandon. And now we get the throw in. Crouch is with Judd. It comes down to Stengline. Judd gets a little kick that goes only a couple of metres. Taken by Nikoski. A high ball from a standing start kick. The punch is disciplined by Craig Bolton. Comes down to the front of the Eagles. Hand past Nikoski. Across the ground to Staker. Staker just outside 50. Bangs for goal. Gets the distance, but hooks the kick. And through for a minor score to Pepper Staker. And it is now the Eagles 2-2, leading Sydney 1 goal, and we've been playing 20 minutes first quarter.
8 points the Eagles' way on ABC football. Kennelly to do the kicking in from the punt road ends. He spies an option short and drills the footy to Fosdyke. Nobody standing the mark momentarily. Fosdyke happy to remain stationary. He's called to play on now by Darren Goldspink. He kicks outside 50. Craig Bolton made a good run to be there. He looks up to half forward. O'Keefe's on a long lead. Gives his hand pass around the back instead. Fosdyke kicks to the wing. O'Keefe is spoiled. There was an infringement in doing so. Leo Barry follows up. Gathers the loose footy. Takes the advantage. Kicks for O'Loughlin. A sweet fist from Hunter. Kills the footy out of play. 50 from the Sydney goal.
Doing it well, West Coast. They've covered all the main avenues, and one would suspect that they're going to have to work their goals, work the ball closer to goal, Sydney, because they just can't. They're getting a lot of the football outside it, but not inside 50 cleanly.
Hunter and O'Loughlin tangled. O'Loughlin went to ground. It raised some blood pressure in front of us, but not the umpires. Won by Jolly. Outside 50 went the tap. Gathered by Fosdyke. His hand pass was careful to O'Keefe. He popped it up in the air inside 50 and 2 Eagles ways. And the man in front, Green.
Been good, Green.
He's been very good. They'd be very, very happy with the role he's played.
Gives his hand pass to Embley, drifting round the back.
Oh, good vision.
He spies a loose man at centre half back. It's Hunter. Gives it to Cousins. Cousins is running to the northern wing. He had a bounce and kicks on the left. Chicks his target. Craig Bolton made the spoil. The spillage. Gasper and Roberts-Thompson. Gasper was crude. Got over the top of Roberts-Thompson, a free kick.
Roberts-Thompson's getting more of the pill than he's had in the whole final series. He gets the ball up to Jude Bolton, whose kick is smothered. It's taken by Sampy. High ball inside the 50 and getting back in defence. The mark taken by Craig Bolton.
Free kick.
Whistle.
Gardner. They're pushed out of the marking contest.
Free kick to Michael Gardner.
Good quarter-time lead. You know it's going to be very hard to pick back because they're not a big scoring side, Sydney. This is a dangerous period of time.
Well, he did the right thing there, Barry. He tried to protect his teammate and push Gardner out of the way, and he just copped the penalty for it.
There's a man on the marks about 45 metres from goal. Gardner kicks from 50 at the punt road end. Close, but no cigar off hands and through for a rush behind. Eagles 2-3 lead Sydney 1 straight goal. Peter Bruckner.
Eagles have got a pretty impressive bench at the moment. Cox, Cousins and Kerr all on the bench. Kerr running up and down, seems to be moving a bit more freely. I think he'll be back on fairly soon.
Eagles by 9 points. Kennelly with the kick in at the 23-minute mark of the first. He kicks to the southern side of the ground. He did it well. Jude Bolton was on the break. He wanted to play on. There wasn't much ahead of him. He has to kick to a contest. Green over the back of O'Keefe, and the Eagles have the numbers. Stenglein uses his hand pass. It comes to Green. He touches it down. Butler gave it back to Green. Kicks inside the centre square. He used it well as well. Selwood with the footy. Looks to 50. He's going to Gardner. Barry's behind. Jolly infringed with the flight.
Oh, done. Has to be a free kick.
Oh, not even slightest bit subtle. The interesting thing about that was that Michael Gardner straight away looked for Barry. So he was more interested in finding what Barry was going to do. And quite frankly, I mean, that was a really silly free kick. But I think Leo Barry had him covered. All he needed to do was actually probably help him on the ground.
I think West Ruckman do those sometimes, don't they?
I think West Coast should be really pleased with the way that their players are starting to find targets under pressure, the coolness.
Yeah. Should be a gift from 25. It can hit the post. It was getting away right off the boots. And that is a lucky break for the Swans. 2-4-16 the Eagles. Sydney 1 straight.
Bad sign was when the kick-off before, I can't remember who got it, but kicked it to O'Keefe, and O'Keefe had no ground coverage, and West Coast had 2 players at the foot of the ball. It's a dangerous situation.
Gardner should have kicked that. Dangerous kick in, low zoomer, but Lewis Roberts-Thompson, playing an outstanding first quarter, dives to take the mark. 8 possessions to the bloke who came up in his school days and was playing rugby union at Shaw School in Sydney. Kick by Roberts-Thompson, over half-back flank, short of the wing. Well, that's courageous.
Another free kick.
Yeah, Gasper.
That's Jolly's second in a row.
Well, if you're going to rough them up, make sure they don't get up in such a hurry. Gasper might have been lucky to beat the rap at the tribunal during the week. The kick by Gasper towards centre half forward. All Sydney. Poor kick, and the mark taken by Kirk. Switches to the Great Southern stand side, the Goods. Gets a bad bounce, goes to ground, but recovers. And well played, Adam Goods. Sweeps the hand pass back to Kirk, who gave it to him. The kick by Kirk, partly smothered. Crouch, the only chance, outnumbered. Jared Crouch, the Iron Man, taps the ball magnificently. It is taken here by Schneider. He's just pulled off his kick. It goes to O'Loughlin. Hand pass back to Schneider. Open go for Adam Schneider. Outside of his boot, kicks a wonderful goal. Sydney 2 goals. Eagles 2 goals 4.
Well, when you think you've got them, they come again, the Swans. They just continue to find a way to kick a score. They've been outstanding all year. And was that at Crouch? Was it who knocked that through? That was just brilliant, wasn't it?
Why would you ever question it? I mean,
brilliant.
Just know that's the sort of one.
And a tackle from Selwood, hand pass to Crouch, run down by Sampi. Seavey slides in after the footy, held up by Williams. It'll be a bounce. Still inside the centre square. He drifted the Swans' way. A couple of minutes left in the first term. Bounce to be made on the side of the square. Ball again, knocked it forward. Kirk kept the momentum going. Then kicked it off the ground. Did well. Buchanan with a hand pass in traffic. And we're a punter. And it's on. The advantage is being paid though. Judd took the footy. Kicks to the wing for Cousins. There's a lot of players involved in a melee at half forward for the Swans. The ball is at half forward for the Eagles. Sampi takes it and he's run out of play by Bevan.
Yeah, but bravo, we're Punda.
Yeah, fantastic.
Bravo, we're Punda.
Absolutely, but free kicks to Wirrapunda. 2 seconds later would have been, no doubt, would have been reverse free kick as Hall copped the beauty.
He did.
And they obviously didn't...
Seavey to Fletcher to Embley from the boundary throw it, and Hansen marks at centre half forward. He's inside the square. He has a look to full forward and he lets go for the square. Into the pocket. Chick almost took the mark. He has the crumbs. Dodges one, dodges 2, and then kicked it across the face. He was trying to get the nice curl up the outside of the boot. R.R. Schneider. He got no curl. He got it right in the middle and kicked it out on the full.
Ball's covered in blood.
Great bit of play by Goods because he waited to the last second so he didn't interfere.
Jason Ball's going to have to go off. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Barry Hall, he is just frustrated. Again, frustrated, and again, just lashing out. And he's just got to pull up a bit there and start to put his attack on the ball and really start to lead this side properly, because he hasn't so far.
Jason Ball looking a little bit like what Brett Kirk looked like last week, so they might have to bandage him up and give a helmet to him. Peter Brookner's right there.
Yes, he's got a nice cut on his forehead, bleeding quite profusely. They'll probably glue that or stitch it, and he should be back on straight after quarter time.
Craig Bolton with the free kick in after Daniel Chick kicked out of bounds from about 10 metres. Good mark taken by Casey Green. Last minute inclusion in the Eagles side, in between wing and half forward. He centres the ball and Chad Fletcher marks near the circles. It's 2-4 to 2 goals. The Eagles by 4 points, close to quarter time. To Gardner. He gets a spoil from behind. There's no mark, there's no whistle. There was a whistle. Advantage to the Swans. The hand pass comes up the ground. And Matthews steers the pass to O'Loughlin, who marks just outside the 50. He wants to play on Michael O'Loughlin. He hoisted high to the goal square. Hall is some chance. Glass is there. The ball landed. Nobody got it. Wirapunda punches, but straight to Crouch. Over his head with the kick to Hall. No distance on the kick.
Hall, free kick.
Oh, free kick to Barry Hall for a push right in front. And Hall gets up shouting at Brent Staker. You idiot. I'm going to kick a goal.
Something like that anyway, Drew.
Well, you know, I've got to say, this will be a very interesting kick, this. I reckon he's been full of nerves, and a nervous player at 15 metres out can miss. This
He knows.
This could start...
Have a look what he's doing, Mick.
Yep, he's done the right thing by going back and making out he's doing his boot up.
Yeah.
But this is the one where if he could actually get the nerves back on track if he kicks the goal. If he doesn't, this could be the end of his day. Now, I don't want to sort of put the moles on it, he won't, but I've seen this happen so often before. He hasn't... Very quick at it.
Right in front, 25 out. Barry Hall gets the goal, and the Swans are in front. Seconds before quarter time. Sydney 3 goals, Eagles 2-4.
Yeah, and a significant goal, not only for Barry Hall, but for the Swans, because the last couple of minutes there
Was Gaspar. It bounced ahead of him. He threatened to take it cleanly. But time has expired. Quarter time in the 2005 Grand Final. Sydney 3 straight with an unlikely lead. They're 2 points out in front of the Eagles. 2 goals for 16. The goal kickers underway. Sydney by 2 points. Cox and Jolly run at each other. Cox, down to Judd. Magnificent clearance. On the right to full forward. Gardner wrestles. Chick over the top. 2 bites, not enough. Cousins wrenches it out. Got it to Sampi. Right foot snap. Swinging across the face. And all the way across. Out on the full.
Well, the test will be if they can control Judd, because if he has another quarter like he did, that'll set the West Coast up.
Well, Crouch reeled him in the last 9 or 10 minutes of the first term.
Defy anyone to touch him there in that middle of the ground. He was just brilliant.
Leo Barry with the free kick after the kick out of bounds on the full, and Adam Goods takes the mark at right half-back for the Sydney Swans. 2003, he won the Brownlow, won the best and fairest, was All-Australian. Hasn't quite recaptured it in the 2 years since, Adam Goods, but he steers this pass beautifully onto the chest of Barry Hall, who marks still at half-back, and he half-distance passes up the ground, and Nick Davis takes the mark, still behind the wing. Swans going short, kick by Davis in the direction of O'Keefe. Green right with him. He's been a good spoiler, Casey Green. Ball spills to Davis just inside the boundary line. Beautiful hand pass to Kirk. Hand pass on to Schneider. His kick up towards the attacking 50. Couple of bounces before it reaches Barry Hall. Shrugs off an opponent. Gives it to Schneider on the run. And Schneider should have kicked the goal from 30, but missed to the right-hand side. That was a gift waiting. Sydney 3-1, Eagles 2-4.
And Darren Glass will have to be very, very careful there, because Hall coming right up the ground, but then he works so hard back, and really, he really caught out. You can't be 20 or 30 metres off your man like he was then.
Wirapunda kicked into Banfields. In the left back pockets. He has a look beyond 50, tests the patience of the umpire, and then loads up short of the wing. O'Keefe at the back of the pack was the 4th man there. He has the mark and he plays on to centre half forward. Kirk is able to take it. He can have a look toward the goal square. He's too far out to score. He's going to go 30 out from goal. Davis is his target, got a hand to it. Schneider, the crumbing, slipped the tackle. Hand pass to Buchanan, shoot his way clear. He too threw it onto his right boot in a hurry and got no hook on the foot. He hit the wrong side of it and watched it go out on the full. A la Daniel.
Now wait for Dean Cox to bring the ball back into play from the Great Southern Stand side. Grey, overcast, mild conditions, about 19 degrees. Absolute world perfect day for a game of football. Adam Hunter takes the mark for the Eagles.
Sydney doing a real good job. Man, they've just been forced to time and time again kick long down the line, West Coast, which they don't like doing.
High to a contest. Roberts, Thompson hands to it, comes to the front to Williams. He fights hard, Paul Williams. The ball's still in at centre wing. And the umpire, Allen, comes in and calls for the bounce. Umpire Allen doing his 6th grand final. Goldspink his 5th. And Scott McLaren his 3rd. So the veterans in the umpiring ranks are here today. And the white tops.
Drew Kerr's back on, but he is far from healthy, let me tell you. He's not moving very well. He's even out of the action up the forward line.
Jolly tapped it down. Staker was waiting for it. He was dispossessed. Crouch over the footy. Somehow regained his footing with a hand pass to Jolly. It was too fierce for him. Couldn't take it. Crouch will just go again. He lost the footy. He had it jarred free. Taken by Cousins, who gives ground to Wirrpunda. Being chased by O'Loughlin. Has to do the U-turn. Wirrpunda now settles down the line. Forward of the wing. Cox in front. Couldn't take the mark. Fletcher at ground level. Gave it to Staker. Another hand pass, and now the kick to 50. Knocked away from Chick by Craig Bolton. And it will beat all comers over the boundary. 55 from the Eagles' goal.
The overlap at Sydney on their direct opponent is outstanding. They lose their opponent, someone from behind comes and picks them up. It's a great team effort to cover their not only the direct opponent, but their teammates' opponent.
Cox with a low tap to Cousins. Spun in a tackle, got his hand pass away. Fletcher gives it to Embley. This kick to full forward. Marking contest. Barry had a bit of it for the Swans. Comes to ground. Gardner does the roving. Steps himself clear. Throws it onto the right. It's a rainmaker. It'll land 25 out. The Swans with numbers protected the ball well, and O'Keefe took them up.
Yes, Roberts Thompson did well then. Didn't get a possession, but did protect the ball. Now Paul Williams out in space. Couple of bounces over centre wing. Steers the pass to Barry Hall. 55 out. Well, he wanted to play on. Dropped the footy. He's lost about 15 metres. Centres the ball, didn't go 15. Mark taken by Crouch. He's caught in the tackle by Embley. Gets the hand pass away. Comes to Buchanan. They've lost it. Nikoski has it for the Eagles.
Great play.
Fantastic play by Mark Nikoski. Gets the ball to the magnificent Judd. A couple of bounces. To the centre wing he goes. Inside the 50. Chick. Ball bounces straight past him and goes out of bounds in the forward pocket.
What about the work of Embley back there? He took one tackle in the next and then just turned the ball around. That was a goal for Sydney, and he just turned it straight around with 2 ripping efforts.
Refused to be beaten, didn't he?
How about Barry Hall going for a hand pass and having an air swing? Missed it altogether.
He's completely off tap.
Throw in the forward pocket for the Eagles. Gardner goes away from goal to Judd. What a target is Chris Judd. Turns the opposition inside out. Centres the ball to the goal square, but it doesn't reach Gardner. And the mark taken by Jolly.
Jolly goes to the right back pocket. He spots up Roberts Thompson. At defensive 50. O'Keefe wants it to the wing, one-on-one with Green. He breaks shorter, made the lead and is ignored.
It's almost time to get Gardner out of there and try something different. Someone smaller, someone more manoeuvrable.
Not a great kick from Roberts Thompson, and Goods infringed. It was over Goods' head, and Staker was sort of pushing forward and has come up with the free kick. Hansen goes at half forward. Staker's looking inboard. He kicks toward Gardner and Barry. Barry's well placed. He makes the leap. Couldn't take the mark. Chick at the fall the ball. He gathers 60 out from the Eagles' goal. He winds up and gives it all he's got. It's to the goal square. Judge there. Oh, he marked it one-handed. Not paid. And Kennelly rushes through it behind. Chris Judd turns with both arms outstretched to Darren Goldspink and said, what's going on here? Craig Bolton in trouble under the commentary box. At the very least, he is winded.
It was a good hit by Sampi on him. It was fair, it was clean, and I guess under the circumstances, it's done the required thing.
Kennelly, a hand pass to Kirk. Kirk, a further hand pass to Leo Barry. 45 from goal. He kicks to centre wing. O'Keefe out number 2-1. Ryan O'Keefe gathers. Hand passes over his head. Taken by Buchanan. That's great play by the Swans. Buchanan standing start. Centres the ball. Taken by Jolly on the bounce. The kick by Jolly. Inside the 50 for Sydney. But once again, the Eagles get back in numbers and the mark's taken by Glass. Hand pass to Banfield. Look at Staker in space, up in the middle of the ground. He marks near the wing. Kicks to Gardner, who lopes after it. Gardner has it at half forward, closed down by Goods. Hand pass Gardner back to Cousins, his mate. Cousins centres the ball, taken by Embley. 75 from goal. Embley steers it to Hansen. Chest mark on the 50.
Wonderful kick to goal, Ashley Hansen. This is well within his range.
2-point lead to the Swans, 3-1 to 2 goals 5, but Hansen can put the Eagles back in front.
Blood rule for Craig Bolton. Brookie, got a view of that?
Yes, he's bleeding from the nose. Doesn't look too serious, but there's certainly a bit of blood around. He's been running around for a couple of minutes with that, and the umpires have finally noticed it.
It was a good hit by Sampi.
I tell you what it is, it's just a good game of tough footy, isn't it?
It's just going to have to spread it through a eye of a needle. They've got that many players behind the ball, Sydney.
Hansen from the front edge of the centre square. Didn't quite. And he had to hook it to get the distance and through for a minor score. So the margin is a point, and the Eagles have had 8 scoring shots to 4 but trail. It's Sydney 3-1 to 2-6.
Kennelly kicks in straight up the middle. He's pulled that a few times and it's come off. He finds Matthews. 30 from defensive goal.
One-on-one out here is Goods and Cousins. This will be interesting.
He comes to Goods and Cousins. It's a well-weighted ball and Goods on the lead is able to take the mark outside defensive 50. He looks up the southern wing. He's going to kick to O'Keefe and Barry Hall closes on the contest from behind. Ran the interference, did Hall, and O'Keefe was able to take the mark. Centre wing. Hall's on short, and that's where O'Keefe is going to go. He gains 25 metres for the transaction. Hero and villain, Barry Hall, pops it over the top. A good painstaking build-up. Kick it to Buchanan inside 50. O'Loughlin is coming out like a train.
They'll kill you with water torture. Just they're patient, aren't they?
I'll just say this. We've been critical of Barry Hall.
Yeah, he was great then.
Well, I think he's been pretty good all day. I know he's had some nerves, but the thing is, Glass would not be used to a player that goes from centre half back to centre half forward, full forward, half back again. I just have a look at Glass now. His hands on his hips. He's struggling a little bit. I think Hall is, if he can continue to go like this, he will keep presenting himself at that 30-yard kick and keep getting it.
O'Loughlin from 30 on a 45-degree angle. Makes his approach through the digits on the ground. Stabs at it and put it through.
Fletcher, who hand passes back into a pack, and another stoppage. Barry Hall, 4 possessions for the second quarter in the opening 11 minutes, 7 for the game.
Interesting stats if I can get them on Goods and Staker. I just don't know whether the Staker matchup is really working. He's not getting enough of the football himself. Goods is having a real influence on the game.
From the bounce it comes to Embley, who's slung to the ground. So is Stenglein. But forward come the Sydney Swans to the 50. Barry Hall has it and barges his way through. Just gets boot to ball to Jude Bolton. A hand pass to Kirk. He goes out wide to Fosdyke. 55 from goal. Kick by Fosdyke, looking for O'Loughlin in the pocket. Wirrapunda courageous in front of them. And Wirrapunda will take the free kick. He has been absolutely fantastic across in front of goal. It is taken here by Seaby. Touches down and clears the defence to a contest. Oh, what a mark by Sampi. Sampi backing into his opponent, and that was Bevan, but Sampi plucked it clean.
He kicks for centre half forward. Schick low down, couldn't take the mark under pressure from Kennelly. And Kerr was taken without it in the ensuing scrap. So Kerr's 75 from goal with the free kick. He starts forward of the circles. He'll set it up to full forward. Gardner and Barry. Roberts-Thompson in front, didn't take the mark. Hansen with the spillage, had his kick partially smothered. It trickles toward the behind line. Taken by Kirk. Sets it up to half back. Markers taken by Ball. As the strapping around his temple, having been opened up in the first term. He kicks for defensive 50. And O'Keefe At the other end of the ground is going to send it across the face of goal to Roberts Thompson, who's on in the right back pocket. He's able to stretch away, ran his full measure. Hand pass to Williams, controlling the footy well. Kick up the wing. Dempster couldn't take the mark. Oh, he got round Cousins, and he's on his way to goal. He bounces, got to 52. Kennelly's run all the way into attack and marks in the forward pockets.
What a setup.
He's run 140 metres, Kennelly.
He is deep in the right forward pocket.
So Leo Barry again in the spoil. They just
Got the wrong bloke there. They've got to get Gardner out of there.
Yeah, well, they keep cleaning up on the full back line.
Exactly.
And I'm talking inside the 10-yard square.
Yeah.
I would dare say that West Coast have had the ball in there 5 or 6 times and they haven't scored from it.
Kennelly's kicked 1 goal, 5 for the season. This is a tough angle. He's on the approach. The rabbit in hand. To 35 with the white boots, the pride of Ireland. Sends County Cork into delirium.
Ball slams it away. Oh, running onto it. This magnificent Nick Davis. He kicks to full forward. O'Loughlin juggles, and Michael O'Loughlin is marked right in front, 35 from goal.
Long way from home, but one of the strengths of the West Coast has been Hunter up around the half-back line where he gets his run. I don't think it'll be long before you see him on the forward line.
Needs to be there.
They're going to have to sacrifice someone. They've got Gasper sitting here on the forward line. Gasper doesn't play often on the forward line. He has played, there's no question about that. Perhaps at this stage of the game, one would suspect that Hunter may well go forward and create something, and Gasper perhaps go back on Michael O'Loughlin, or at the very least go back up onto Hall, and Glass go back onto O'Loughlin.
Magic Mick O'Loughlin for his second goal of the quarter. He should have, but he missed it left from about 40 metres out. So he's got a full house. 1 goal, 1 behind, 1 out of bounds on the full. The Swans 5-2 lead the Eagles 2 goals 6.
Just can't find anything to go to that would gain any yardage, so he kicks back to the defensive goal square where Staker marks and tries to penetrate 50 to a contest. Fletcher and Matthews. Fletcher let it get to the back, then left the footy behind as he tried to gather. He left it for Matthews, who didn't make the same mistake. Brings the ball into Crouch to full forward. Barry Hall's a chance. He couldn't take the mark. Who's there to do the crumbing? Adam Goods, left foot snap! This is a mighty charge from the red and white. They're out by 20, 6-2, 38. The Eagles 2-6-18.
Fosdyke, it's all Sydney. It's palmed out by Goods. The ball comes down to O'Keefe. He puts the hand pass into open space. Buchanan runs onto it. Back there is Embley for the Eagles. He works it across to the Brownlow medalist. And Cousins clears from the back pocket. But they're under the pump. The visitors from Perth. Half forward. Fletcher, his hand pass backwards, taken by Roberts Thompson. He bangs it towards Goods in the forward pocket. Gets a spoil from behind. Barry Hall keeps it alive just inside the boundary line. He steers the pass in, and Jude Bolton takes the mark 40 metres from goal, and Sydney are on fire.
The thing about keeping the ball alive, that ball was out of bounds 3 or 4 times. They were able to resurrect it within 6 centimetres of the boundary line and just made sure something happened. But you notice anything ball that falls with Sydney, the ball is punched forward. They are so predictable to run onto the loose football.
Jude Bolton and his grandmother Molly. We spoke to her at the grand final parade yesterday. 84 years old Molly, and Jude's father supported the Cats all his life. Jude was drafted to the Swans. Bolton from 45 metres. You give a kid a build-up, and what's he do? Away to the right-hand side and through for a minor score. Jude, hey Jude, you let me down.
Never looked like it, did it?
No.
Himself took his eye off the footy. He dropped it in the goal square. He's able to recover, such is the pressure. Outside 50. It's going to come back. Crouch knocked it over his head. Stenglein had to be good, and he was. got it to Judd. Now to Selwood. Couldn't take it one touch. Got it on the second. Gives it to Staker. Kicks long to full forward. Gardner and Barry. They go to ground together. Seaby's there. Can't get it onto his boot under pressure from Craig Bolton. Barry knocks it for Craig Bolton's advantage. The hand pass didn't clear the area. Gasper has it. Got it to Judd. Schneider got in the moment he got it. Great contest. Ferocious ball. Desperate stakes. The Eagles need to drag it out. Chick tried. Gardner tried. It's held in there. Barry earns the ball up.
Tackle on Joke, wasn't it outstanding? Was that Crouch?
No, Schneider.
Schneider laid the tackle.
What an unbelievable tackle.
Yep. And out
Blood
of
rule
all,
again.
there'll be a blood rule.
Can I just can I just come over just here? We mentioned about O'Keefe and Green, how good Green was. Hasn't played for a few weeks. O'Keefe this quarter, 6, Green none. Now, that's so significant that he just wears his opponents down. Saw it last week.
Yeah, he's playing half forward. Look where he is, Mick. He's 15 metres out of the defensive goal. It's just exactly what he's done. Just magnificent.
It's a triple change, is it?
Yeah, I hate to say this, but this is a good move because Gardner's going off the ground for a blood rule. And they need to change and get some different style of player in that forward line. He's just too cumbersome and he hasn't got enough movement at all.
The bloke I would have liked was seen clear him all out and just play Embley.
He's the one.
Bounce 15 out from the Eagles' goal. Barry reaches over the top, swats it away. Cleared it some 25 metres away to the boundary. And take it. Schneider with a hand pass to Williams. A further hand pass and off the side of the boot of Crouch. It has gone out on the full.
Selwood to take the free for the West Coast Eagles. He puts it to the top of the goal square. A dangerous spot. It's punched to the front. There must have been a pack of 10 players. Roving Nick Davis. Jolted out of his arms. Taken by Kerr. Didn't have time. Drew Banfield in the middle of it. Jude Bolton gets him.
Kerr's hurt again.
Gone.
He's in real trouble.
Gee, the runner-up in the Brownlow on Monday night is limping, hobbling, and I think he's going to interchange himself. Looks as though
He's gone.
he's aiming towards the bench. He's no good, Daniel Kerr. Here's the bounce inside the 50 for the Eagles. Selwood gets a touch, but it's taken by Williams of Sydney. Shrugs a tackle, hand pass to Bevan. Beautiful kick by the kid, Bevan, in his second season. And Fosdyke marks just behind the wing. Sydney have played an irresistible brand of football. They've kicked 3-3 in this quarter, and the Eagles have kicked just 2 behinds. Further pass up the ground, and Barry Hall marks in between wing and half forward. It's 39-18 in favour of Sydney. Hall centres, Jude Bolton marks near the logo centre wing.
Is it a big enough score for a domination? 3-3 to 2 points? They haven't really dominated, have they?
That's the positive, I think, that Woosh has got. If they can hold it this till half-time, that's the real positive he's got that he can talk to his players about, because there's a lot of his players really haven't really given anything at all, yet they're still able to hang in.
Bolton short to Buchanan, and Buchanan kicks about 30 metres down the ground, and Hall marks just outside the 50. 5 marks this quarter to big Barry Hall, the villain of the piece. He centres the ball into Fosdyke, hardly any closer to goal. They don't mind a slow build-up, and the kick to Jason Ball. He was surrounded by opponents, taken by Banfield. Ball becomes the tackler, and now it's a stack-up, and the umpire will ball it up 40 metres from goal. Swans in attack to lead 6-3 to 2-6.
The worrying sign is that the actual Eagles are dropping off, just letting a player go free, and they're allowing them to pick and chip whenever they want to, and that's just too easy for the Swans.
Bounce 40 from the Sydney goal. Ball gets his palm to it. Judd was waiting at the back of the pack, though. He releases Banfield. Further afield to Cox. Hand passes sideways to Wirrapunda. Has to go short to Hansen. All that to reach the southern wing. Hansen over the top again. Cox has made good grounds. 30 metres further afield. He takes the mark. Selwood's on a lead. He goes longer. Seaby's the target. Never quite reached him. Barry with a chance. A loose hand pass out of the pack. Gasper paddles in front of himself. Seaby commits himself. Chick taken to ground in the tackle by Barry. Kennelly, the last one with the footy. He's held up by Seaby. And a bounce. 40 from the Eagles goal. And some space to do so. Fletcher and Jude Bolton in his pass. With Matthews and Stenglein. He's able to bounce it now. Cox knocks it wide of the congestion, but there's nobody there. Fosdyke for the Swans. Hand pass to Crouch. Almost run down from behind by Judd. Had to kick in a hurry, and the turnover comes.
And the mark taken by Glass on centre wing. Hand pass to Embley. He kicks to centre half forward. A pack gathers. No mark. Comes to the back to Dempster. Dempster gets the hand pass away to a dangerous spot. It'll be a ball up with players coming from everywhere to force the stoppage. Right down to Nikoski. A high ball hooked towards the goal square. Hansen in the middle of the pack. There's no mark. All Swans roving, but they hesitated briefly. Barry is swamped in a two-man tackle. Kick by Hansen is smothered, and it's picked up by Ty Kennelly, who rushes it behind the Irish hero. And won't they be going mad in Kerry tonight? And the All-England final coming up tomorrow. Could be a big weekend over there. Did I say All England? Good heavens. All Ireland. Wash my mouth out.
Right, I said County Cork. Kennelly to do the kicking in. Kicks into the left back pockets. The Swans might know that there's only 2 minutes on the clock. He's found Barry. Barry's able to gain 15 or so metres. Kicks it to Matthews. No sense of urgency here. Kicks sideways to Barry. Umpire says that's not 15. So Barry moseys on out of 50. Hand pass back to Matthews. Kicks to a contest on the wing. Goods tried to leap the pack. Selwood brought it to ground in front. O'Keefe got it onto the boot for the Swans. Gained a few metres. It's going to be repelled. Gathered for the Eagles. Green gave it to Stengline. Gave it to Cousins. Got his way onto the right. He kicks for Cox near the boundary. Clears him. And before Judd can pounce, it bounces out of play. Jolie knocked it down. Fletcher takes it. Hand pass to Banfield. Inside 50. A high and hope. Seaby tries to leap the pack. Couldn't take it. Who's at ground level? Barry's knocked off it by Chick. A mad scramble for the ball. Holds it up. 25 out, and Leo Barry most displeased with the attention he got, with no reward for it. Believed he was dragged away without having the footing. Knocked it down but didn't find a runner going past. Instead, Adam Goods gathered. Kicks for the wing. It's going to be repelled because he kicked it straight to Staker. Just off the bench. The Eagles could be having a goalless quarter here unless they can get a goal in the last 30 seconds. Centering ball taken by Cox. But their two leading goal kickers.
Hunter versus Davis.
Cox kicks inside centre half forward. At the front, Sampi. Judd, it's in good hands. He hand passes away to Chad Fletcher. Under pressure from Matthews. Fletcher can't get a possession. They absolutely mug him. The ball's taken to ground and the umpire Brett Allen, comes in and will ball it up. It is siren time for half-time. To the siren. Well, can somebody fly hack this out of the air? The siren sounds before the umpire bounces the ball, so I'm not sure how that can happen. Sydney 6-3-39 at half-time lead the West Coast Eagles 2-7-19, a margin of 20 points after Sydney had led by 2 at the first change.
And with thanks to management, let's have a look at that.
Well, that is a goalless quarter to the West Coast, and their critics will say, well, Phil Matera was their leading goal kicker, and Quentin Lynch was second on the goal kickers list. They left them both out and went goalless in the second term. The goal kickers for Sydney, all singles: Hall, Schneider, Jolly, Kennelly, O'Loughlin and Goods. And for the Eagles, Cox and Nikoski, both in the first quarter. The Swans 6-3-39. Is this a bit of history happening? Eagles 2-7-19.
3-3 behinds for the term. How did we see it, Mick Malthouse?
Well, the 3-3, interesting enough, 2 of those shots on goal you would absolutely put down every time. And I reckon, I know that the 50-metre penetrations were relatively even. As I said before the game, it's not a matter of how many times you get it in these days. It's how it goes in and who marks the football. O'Loughlin marked, kicked one, marked twice, kicked one, missed the next one. I think it was Bolton missed relatively easy goal. Down this end, Hansen marked outside 50. And I think that's the difference at the moment. That probably what typified the game was that ball that was on the wing, directed at centre half forward. It went to the flank. It got forced out of bounds about 70 metres from goal, so it's going to take an extra 2 kicks to get it in there. At the moment, West Coast seem to have to work twice as hard to get the ball into a scoring position. Sydney, as we've noticed, once they break, we've had Williams run probably 60, 70 metres down the ground. We've seen other players run in, and they've been a little bit a bit casual about it in a couple of times where they could have broken through the 50-metre line only to give it back. I think Emily might have brought one back the other way. But I certainly wouldn't discount this. I think Sydney are playing very, very good football. I did hear it said during the week, one of the Sydney players said, we believe that West Coast played as well as they possibly could in Perth. Well, I'm almost suggesting right now that Sydney are playing as well as they possibly can. That gives West Coast some hope. I certainly wouldn't say that Sydney will drop away because they are hardened. They've got the age with them. They've got the bodies with them. Goods has spent a lot of time in that forward pocket. Kirk spent some time off the ground, so they'll come up the ground and give some more. The worry, of course, is Kerr. He's such a wonderful ball-getting player at the face of the pack. I think he'll come back on. He's got some run around the boundary, but he's obviously got some leg complaint. Judd has been tied up a little bit. His football now is not clear of the pack. It seems to be inside the pack with Crouch on him. I think Fletcher's an outside player anyway. He's not receiving enough of the ball outside to actually run the football. Ben Cousins, as good as he is, most of the football he's getting at the moment is back of centre. And that's suiting Sydney because they don't mind. And one of the greatest things I've seen here, not that we don't know about it, but just actually looking at it as a casual observer this time, is their overlapping defensive work. You don't have to man up your own man. If you get caught out of position, you do it with your teammate, and that is a trust that you can't break. If you've got that trust up, it's like Mark said before the game. One of the great things about premiership sides, you always remember the trust you have with your teammates, and the trust instilled into this side where they just overlap, and no one takes responsibility for a goal. They work together. If there's a goal scored, they all feel it. If there's a goal kicked for them, they all rejoice, and that's one of the hallmarks. I wouldn't write West Coast off. I think they've got a lot of players that are down, but Mark has said before about their forward line setup. I don't think it's working. Maybe they've got to go small. Maybe they've got to put Judd, Cousins, and perhaps even leave Nikoski up there and just settle it down. Let's see whether or not they can take on Barry, take on Kennelly, take on Matthews and so forth, and get the ball in there. Because they're doing it enough. They're actually getting the ball in there enough, and just not capitalising.
Mark McClure.
Mick's just about covered it all, but I'd be very proud if I was a Sydney Swan supporter. You can keep the best side in the competition to 3 points for a quarter. You've done a terrific job. And they did it in the manner of they really scrapped and scraped and really worked hard. And then they had 6 shots on goal for that quarter, and they actually popped 3 through. And I think that's the key to it. I mean, there's 2 sides walked inside. One who'd be so proud of their first half, and the other one who'd be filthy and going, how are we going to turn this around? And they have got the opportunity, Stan. They've got the opportunity to turn it around, the Eagles.
Yeah, I see a real significant difference in this game, just the way the forwards are being used. We concentrated on Hall and we concentrated O'Keefe probably early in the first quarter in terms of what they were doing, but I thought they were fantastic in that quarter. And one of the reasons I think is because they were prepared to come up the ground. Both of them worked up the ground. They were then used, but then they kicked the ball on and they brought their smaller running plays into the game. The number of times Fosdyke, Buchanan, those type of players were able to get in and get the football in there, Snyder, and get the ball in quickly, and that's what we saw. Now, what have we seen with West Coast? We've seen West Coast a situation where Hansen, Gardner, it could have been Gasp at some stage, all camped in the goal square. And what they're doing is they're hoping that Cox can work his butt off, try and get the footy up the ground and go out wide, and then when they get it, by the time they've gone out that wide, what happens is, guess what? All Sydney have just pushed back. So it becomes a long bomb. It's a frustrated outfit, I think, West Coast to me, the long bomb. Sydney are just loving it because their desperation and that at ground level. And then on the release, on the rebound, they're absolutely slaughtering. They've just got to restructure that forward setup, or they've got to give them different roles to play. I think that Sydney would go in there thinking absolutely sensational, even though they're down. The positive for Johnny Worsfold, they're not a million miles out of it.
Away by Kirk, though, for the Sydney Swans. Up towards half forward. Running onto it, Green, who has a bit of a fumble. His hand pass away to Judd. Slips through his hands. Comes to Fletcher. He's buried in a magnificent tackle, but gets the hand pass away to Embley. All this at half back for the Eagles. Embley, a good hand pass to Wirrapunda. Bit of a push and shove on behind the play. Kick by Wirrapunda over the wing, and Roberts Thompson running in the same direction as the ball. Clutches a chest mark. What a game this kid has played. 6 marks to Lewis Roberts-Thompson. He kicks into Ben Matthews, who drops a sitter. Hand pass back to Roberts-Thompson. He goes off the right to Kennelly. One glove. Roberts-Thompson might get this again. Kennelly loses it in the tackle. Hand pass to Roberts-Thompson. Across the half-back line he goes, and it's taken by Dempster, first-year player. Son of a former South Melbourne player. Kicked by Sean Dempster to half forward. Green gets there, bats it down to the front to Staker, and Green takes it on the run from behind the wing.
He dashes up the wing and kicks to Hansen on the lead, 70 from goal. He winds up to full forward. Kennelly's there and Chick. It clears the pair of them and races them out of play.
Bit of scrappy play there. Both sides had the opportunity to take it forward, but you wouldn't say it's nerves, but maybe it's finals pressure that had two turnovers that were poor.
Swans by 20 points. Eagles in attack. Gardner to contest with Jolly in the ruck contest. Neither laid a glove on it. Gardner picks it up off the deck. Tries to push his way clear. His handball was intended for Judd. It was cut off by Crouch. He kicks outside 50, a bouncing ball. Fosdyke would be happy not to gather as it reached the boundary and out of play.
O'Keefe just came off. I just noticed his last contest, he couldn't get to it, so I'm just wondering whether there's something wrong with it.
Barry Hall very much involved with Gasper, 40 metres off the play. Cox in front, wins the tap down to Judd. Hand pass was almost picked off. Buchanan left it behind. Fletcher dives in to try to extricate it from a pack, which forms at the point of the square, and it'll be a bounce.
Hall and Gasper on each other. What chance of another tribunal appearance for both this week?
That means that Glass has gone back to O'Loughlin.
Well, we thought that may take place.
They both got off during the week. Here's the bounce. Palmed down by Cox to Stenglein. Hurried kick from a standing start inside the 50, but knocked to the boundary line by Ty Kennelly. I reckon he's got plenty of fans both in Ireland and in Australia. Ty Kennelly, who last week played his 100th game. What a remarkable performance. Here's the throw in on the 50. Cox front position. Didn't really clear the area. Hacked out of there by Banfield, but back into the pack. Plucked off the ground by Fosdyke. Hand pass back to Kennelly, and he kicks to Hall, and Big Barry marks overhead behind the wing. He steers the pass to true centre wing. Michael O'Loughlin takes the mark. Great Southern stand side. Sydney 6-3-39 lead the Eagles 2-7-19. 20-point margin. No addition to the score since half-time, and we've been playing 3 minutes as O'Loughlin steers the pass towards half-forward and Ablett marks. Ablett happy to concede some ground. Back to the logo centre wing to Paul Williams, who's got plenty of space. He gathers momentum and kicks luckily to Crouch, who drops an overhead mark, recovers, gets the hand pass to Fosdyke. It is scrappy to start this second half. Fosdyke beats one or two tackles. Hand pass to Paul Williams, who hoists it high to the goal square, but Cox is back there as tall as the goalpost and takes the mark.
At fullback, Cox plays on with a hand pass to Embley in the right back pocket. Outside 50 with his kick. Gasper's able to mark and play on. He looks up the wing and tries to deliver to Staker. It's cut off by Goods. The kick lacked the penetration. Goods into the middle for Fosdyke on his own. He can have a bounce. Closes on centre half forward. Almost run down. The kick into the pocket. O'Loughlin dropped the chest mark. He really might have taken it. Cousins is able to gather. Have a bounce and run through defensive 50. He kicks very wide indeed. Too wide and out of bounds on the full.
Oh, it's look ominous. Everything's been taking place forward to centre for Sydney. And West Coast just seem to be falling in behind. It just seems to be luck of the draw at the moment to be able to hold them out.
Barry inboard to Goods, who slips over and has to hand pass it back to Barry. He's able to take a bounce. Hand pass to Kennelly, approaching the wing. He hits the burners. He has a bounce from centre half forward. He kicks into the pocket. Hall back with Gasper. Rapunda and Sampi get there to close. Hall ripped off the footy by Gasper. Good tackle. Sampi's able to mount the counter-attack. He kicked it to the wing for Gardner. Embley runs on in front of him. Gardner's going longer with a kick to half forward. Hunter takes his first mark in attack.
Adam Hunter, can he be the spark for the Eagles? We've played 4 minutes with no score in the third quarter. And Embley marks overhead in the forward pocket. Thought momentarily about playing on, but has to go back behind the mark and kick for goal about 30 metres from goal, but a tight angle. Andrew Embley missed 7 weeks with a foot injury, came back in time for round 22 just before the finals. And the Eagles, who were heading for the minor premiership all year, at one stage led by 4 clear games, got pipped in the last round by the Adelaide Crows, who then were eliminated by the Eagles in the finals last week. Kick by Embley. Oh, that's good. Plenty of Eagles fans behind the goals at the Punt Road end. And it's the first goal since late in the first quarter to the West Coast Eagles. The Eagles 3-7 trail Sydney 6-3.
Well, all the talk a coach can do and cajoling him in a half-time break doesn't mean anything unless what we've just seen happens. They look to be in awful trouble, West Coast. The belief systems look to be deserting them. Sydney look to be on top. But all of a sudden they've got the footy into the forward line, and Embley, great goal. I just want to give a pat on the back to Sampi, though. I thought Sampi's effort to come up, get the footy in this back half under pressure, and to come up and release the ball to Gardner to set it up was just fantastic. He'll get a boost from that. They'll all get a boost from that. So now next goal, super important in the game.
Stan Elves and ABC Football. The lead trimmed to 14 points Sydney's way. Bounce of the ball in the middle. Cox reached over the top, and O'Fancy gave away the free kick in doing so. Jolly for the Swans comes up with the ball. He's going to deliver inside 50. Barry Hall's on the lead. He'll get it. Oh, he dropped it. He slid in and dropped it off his chest. Gasper hand passes for the boundary. He gets away with it. He gained 10 or 12 metres in doing so, and had Fletcher coming in from the side as a potential target.
Come on, Barry. The captain's got to take those.
Well, they've missed two sitters. Really, O'Loughlin missed a pretty simple chest mark too.
Forward for the Swans. The boundary throw in, paddled off the ground by Banfield. Here's Judd. He takes off up the wing. Reached the logo. Kicks a bouncing ball to Sampi. Kept his footing. Left foot snap into 50. Met by Kennelly. Hand pass to Goods at half back, and Goods can have a bounce. He works his hand pass inboard. Dempster was his target. He was knocked off it by Sampi, who goes in to gather his own ball. He paddles it forward. Did well, Sampi. Got it to Staker. Held up in a tackle by Roberts Thompson. Kirk with the releasing hand pass gives it to Fosdyke on the logo. Inside 50. Hall and Gasper. Hall this time. A one-on-one with the ball coming inside. Hall put the hand into the chest of Gasper to give himself some breathing space and brought the ball down.
Just watching that ball come in, I was just counting the number of midfielders for West Coast that actually pushed into the Swans 50-metre line. There was one. Ben Cousins got to the 50-metre line right on, but they lack support in behind that.
Tighter than a 45-degree angle right of centre. Barry Hall to deliver from the paint of 50. Kicks a right foot drop punch. It's close. It sneaks away at the end. Pushes across the face. And a minor score. The Sydney lead is 15 points.
Barry Hall, 1 goal, 1 today. The grand final on ABC Local Radio and Radio Australia. Gerard Waitley, Drew Morford, with Mick Malthouse, Stan Alves and Mark McClure. We're at the 8-minute mark of the third quarter. And it's 40-25 in favour of the Swans. The kick in by Wirrapunda gets to the back of the pack, taken by Matthews of Sydney. Hand pass to Williams. His hand pass out wide to Jolly. Standing start, gets it inside the 50. A climb by Buchanan and a mark. Nearly the smallest bloke on the ground. Eamon Buchanan, the mark. 35 to 40 metres from goal.
Yeah, I think if you're going to get David Wirrapunda, sometimes it's in the air. David doesn't fly. He's very intent on making sure the ball that spills, he's able to crumb up for his teammates. So it's self-sacrifice, but sometimes it doesn't pay off.
Buchanan's only shot for goal went out of bounds on the full in the second quarter at the Punt Road end. Here he is at the City end. Man on the mark, Wirrapunda, about 35 from goal. Eamon Buchanan kicks from 42. Drop punt off the left, misses right, and a behind. And so it is now 6-5-41 Sydney to 3-7-25, 16-point lead to the Swans. Peter Bruckner.
Yes, the Eagles are going to try and give Daniel Kerr another go. He's gone back on the ground, and he's gone forward.
Wirrapunda with the kick-in duties for the Eagles. He's told it's time to go. He kicks into the pocket. Nikoski with the footy. Chips it out to Staker. Still inside defensive 50. Staker looks up the field. There's nothing obvious to go to. So he kicks to a contest. Cox is going to work his way into it with Goods. Goods made the spoil down to Kirk. Kirk with a hand pass to Matthews. He sinks the slipper in to 50. Chicken Nikoski in front of the pack as the ball dropped short, and Nikoski is able to take the mark for the Eagles. He sprays it to the wing, the northern wing, Wirrapunda.
is able to take a mark. Embley's on a long lead. He is ignored. Kerr's on a short lead. The kick didn't quite reach him. Dispossessed by Kennelly unfairly. Didn't have the footy, Kerr, when Kennelly laid the tackle. Kerr with a hand pass. Drifting round the back was Banfield. He reaches the logo and pumps it for half forward. Sampi reaches the pack, can't mark. The spillage comes to Matthews, took him on, got his kick away and it went straight to Cousins. He's forward of the wing. He doesn't waste any time. Embley's his man inside 50. The spoiler's put on. The crumbing is done by Bevan, who found his way through traffic to Kirk and to Goods. They're outside 50 and they're on. A bouncing ball into the middle went past O'Keefe and is taken by Glass.
Glass a hand pass to Cousins, forward of the circles. He kicks inside the 50. Gardner at the back gets hands to it but can't mark. Dempster gets there to spoil. He's taken to ground by Embley. Is he holding the ball? The Eagles fans say yes. The umpire says no. A baller.
Disposal from Sydney coming out of their back line has been a bit ordinary this quarter so far. They've missed some very easy free targets, which would have put West Coast under enormous pressure. Last one to...
Swans by 16 points. They still haven't put the Eagles away. Comes to Jude Bolton. Hand pass to Leo Barry. Out of defence, over half-back flank. O'Keefe is there. And he takes Wirrapunda to ground without it. But Wirrapunda was over the boundary line at the time. Could well have played a free kick, but the umpire ruled a boundary throw-in. Great Southern stand side. About 90,000 at the grand final. A magnificent sight. From the throw-in, it comes to Cousins, hand pass to Banfield, off to Fletcher, off to Gardner, hand pass to Nikoski. Nikoski's kick towards full forward. Can they take a mark? No, but roving Embley might have taken one high from Dempster. Embley follows up, going away from goal, wheels around in a big circle, kick short of the goal square. Hansen! Oh, what a goal! He gathers and snaps over his shoulder. That was magnificent by young Ashley Hansen. He had it for a split second, and the Eagles are back in town. They've kicked the only 2 goals of the third quarter, and they trailed 4-7 to 6-5.
Oh, turning point of the game. Embley up to the full forward line, and he has been outstanding. He's contested, he's leading, he's hard running forward and actually to lead for the ball. And then a quick kick in. Wasn't flash, wasn't fancy, had an unusual bounce on it. And Hansen was on the end of it and just flicked the goal through. But his work up there has been just terrific and got them right back in the game. Andrew Embley.
At the other end of the ground, what's happened is that they've put Glass back out on the hall, so Chick has had to come up. I think he's got onto O'Loughlin in the goal square, so they've restructured that forward line, the back line.
Nikoski's taking O'Keefe too, which is interesting.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? I mean, Sydney miss a couple of shots on goal. West Coast come and kick a couple. All of a sudden, Sydney's disposed, a little bit ragged.
Sydney by 10 points and it's game on. Cox knocked it down to Stengline, taken in the tackle immediately by Kirk. Peter Bruckner.
Yes, Andrew Embley has come to the bench despite that good work. He was taken off just after that goal, puffing pretty hard, but he should be back on soon.
Interesting time of the game. This is the time when Sydney will try and lock down, try and slow you down.
Bounce in the outer of the 2 circles. Goods swept over the top, knocked it 20 metres forward. Wirrapunda tracks the footy. Under pressure from Buchanan. Buchanan propels himself onto the ball and got a hand pass away, but it was picked off. It was intended for Goods, taken by Fletcher. Kicked to half forward. Kerr couldn't take the mark. Under siege from Kennelly. Released his hand pass, but not to advantage. Crouch to Kirk. Kirk to Goods. Goods can have a run around the northern wing. He kicks for Barry Hall at half forward. Under pressure from Glass. Did he do enough? No, said the umpire. Glass picks up the footy. He propels it to half forward. Bouncing inside 50 for the Eagles. Roberts-Thompson. He wrong foots Gardner and gets himself out of trouble with a steady foot, and he put it straight to Goods.
Roberts-Thompson now on Gardner, and Craig Bolton has gone to Ashley Hansen. Barry Hall takes the mark and holds it up and shows it to the umpire because he reckons the previous one was a mark as well. Barry's just behind the wing, kicks to half-forward flank. Judd climbs in the front of the pack trying to take his first mark for the day. Unsuccessful. Comes to Staker, kicks into the pack. It's a fight for the ball at ground level and will be a ball up in front of the Melbourne Cricket Club. 6-5-41 to 4-7-31. A 10-point lead to Sydney. It had been 20 at half-time. From the bounce, it comes to Wirrapunda. Just outside defensive 50. He hoists it high towards centre wing. Big pack, no mark. Back palmed to Kerr. Kerr gets the ball into Selwood. Selwood's kick to centre half forward. Sampy front of the pack. Can't mark but recovers beautifully and kicks out wide towards the pocket. A chance here for the Eagles' Cox. But he's worked off the ball by Leo Barry. Cox tackles Barry when he hasn't got the footy. The umpire says free kick Leo in the last line of defence. Back pocket.
Not a bad free kick. Not a bad free kick, really. All he did was give it away to stop it. Now he's giving away a free kick, silly bugger.
Well, it was a free. It was 50 metres anyway. You just got it and kicked it. You just can't do that. I mean, the free kick was given ages ago. So.
Yeah, but the free kick wasn't a bad one to give away, to hold the ball in.
Absolutely. Now it's on the wing. It's not bright play.
Cox gets slow marched by Scott McLaren. Leo Barry with the free kick. Barry Hall's on the lead. He's able to take the mark on the wing under the southern stand. O'Loughlin's on the lead 30 metres further afield. Chick closes and makes the spoil. A battle at ground level. Knocked back by Kirk. For Barry. Chick closed him down.
Oh, great play,
Barry
Chick.
Hall held up by Chick.
That's holding the ball. Great play, Chick.
They're back in the ball game here. And Sydney looked a little bit slow to me now. They just slowed down a bit.
Bounce on the wing. Seaby couldn't bring it down to advantage. Kirk with a loose hand pass. Judd's a chance. Keeps it out in front of himself. Under pressure from Crouch. Knocked off his feet. Crouch wins the footy. Kicks to 50. Schneider! Schneider takes the mark knee high. Banfield on the mark.
Interesting here because this kid can kick a long way, but I don't know. I reckon, the West Coast got to get their numbers back, wasn't it? Oh no, it wasn't a free
Crouch
kick.
did a great job on
Schneider's going for Kennelly. It's ambitious. Kennelly has to make the spoil.
That's a free kick.
His head. Brought down by Butler. Ball in disputes. Won't be a free kick. Held in there.
Lucky.
Held in 40 from the Sydney goal. It's exciting. The bounce, Sydney in attack, ball tries to clear the area, Fosdyke took the footy, releases his sand pass to Kirk, off the outside of the boot, into the pocket, O'Loughlin and Goods close, ball pitches in the corner, taken by Chick who read it well, he pumps it up the wing, Gardner closes and takes the mark and knocks Kennelly over for his trouble.
I reckon he accelerated the last ride to make sure he made contact with Kennelly. Kick by Gardner to half forward. Hunter now forward. Juggles and takes the mark. But he's 70 metres out from goal, Adam Hunter.
Well, this is the one Hunter's...
He'll find Judd.
Chris Judd's run on and takes the mark. And a kick by Judd inside the 50, a lead on by Cox. What a half volley pick up by the big fella, and he sweeps the hand pass to Stenglein, who kicks for goal and hooks it too far and through for a minor score. 9 points the difference. The Eagles coming hard at Sydney, who have scored just 2 behinds in this third quarter, which has been going 18 minutes.
Kennelly had his bones rattled by Gardner. He kicks in for Bevan. 40 from defensive goal. They're playing the southern side of the grounds. The kick is short and inboard for Leo Barry. He'll penetrate defensive 50. Ball on the lead. Takes the mark out in front of Seaby. He can pop it over the top to Matthews, who can play on if he chooses. He chooses not to. Matthews at halfback called to play on. He kicks it as far as he can in the Barry Hall direction. Blasted enough to spoil. Cousins at ground level. Left it for Stenglein. Hand pass for Sampy. Out wider to Fletcher. Against the boundary. Hand pass to Judd. Judd with an inboard ball. Got it to Seaby. Seaby can put it inside 50. Hunter! Directly in front. 50 from goal.
That's the move we're talking about. Barry likes him to stand and deliver. This is where he has to have play on a leading player.
3 marks for the quarter to Hunter. He has this range in his legs. He'll move through the front line of the centre square and trim the margin potentially to within a kick. Hunter lets fly from 50. Didn't get it. It's left off the boots and just does enough to get over the line. The lead is 8 points Sydney's way. Peter Bruckner.
Yes, West Coast have restructured their forward line. Cardner's off, Cox has gone forward and Seaby on the ball.
2-2 to 2 behinds this quarter. The kick in is short to Paul Williams in the back pocket. Williams goes longer over half-back flank. O'Keefe is there. and it comes back to O'Keefe after a punch forward. He has to get rid of it under pressure to Fosdyke, to Bevan. At half-back for Sydney. Bevan centres the ball. It's at centre half-back now. Bouncing up to Roberts-Thompson. He gathers and kicks long to Goods at half-forward. It goes past him. Chance for Schneider. With him is Green. Schneider goes to ground. Works the ball to the boundary line. Bit of deliberation about that. And the ball goes out of play. Sydney 6-5. Lead the Eagles 4-9. It's the grand final contest we really wanted. Who cares there's no Victorian team here? These two interstaters putting on a great show. It's not flooding that's caused the low scoring. It's just man-on-man contests everywhere and a most enjoyable game. From the throw-in, it comes to Stenglein, a West Australian who played his early football for the Crows. Went back home this season for the Eagles. Taken to ground, ball up. 41-33 Sydney.
The mobile forward line of West Coast is really causing some trouble for Sydney.
Seaby and Jolly. Seaby knocks it forward only as far as Buchanan for the Swans, who's able to mop up at the logo. Barry Hall's in the lead at centre half forward. It doesn't reach him. Bounces off his boots. Gives the Eagles a chance to clear. Selwood got it to Cousins. Kicks for Wirrapunda. Roberts-Thompson has to hold him up because Hansen drifts away. He gets the kick away to Hansen, does Wirrapunda. Hansen looks to 50. He keeps a low steering ball in the Embley direction. Couldn't mark. He has the ball against the boundary. Got it to the right, all the way to the square. Judd couldn't mark. Sampi closes. Jolly, was he infringed upon? Kept the ball alive to defensive 50. Jude Bolton was held by Stenglein. A good contest. Kicked up the ground by Jude Bolton. Reaches the interchange area. Selwood's over the ball. He's held up by Fosdyke. He's taken to ground. It'll be a bounce.
I'll tell you what, you're not going to pay a free kick for holding the ball.
No.
There's absolutely no way.
But good effort by Sydney. I mean, no effective possession, but they've taken it from the right on the goal line up over the wing.
8 points the margin, and from the bounce close to the boundary line, it's knocked over, and we'll have a throw-in. Brett Kirk goes off the ground for the Swans for a bit of a breather, the best tackler in the competition. It's been a game that has featured tackling and the defensive side. Nobody has got an easy kick in this game. We've had just 10 goals total, and we're close to three-quarter time. Ball knocked out by Seaby. It's taken by Fletcher. His hand pass astray. Kennelly has it for Sydney. Loses it in a tackle. Kerr has it for the Eagles, but he's out of bounds. And we'll have a throw-in at the interchange gate, centre wing. Terrific game. I'm having a ball. Sydney 6-5 to the Eagles, 4-9, and we've got about 2.5 minutes to three-quarter time.
Jolly and Seaby await the boundary throw-in. Jolly got his hand to the footy. Kerr takes possession, releases a hand pass backward for Wirrapunda. He's able to take the ball, tuck it under the right arm, throw it onto the left boot, high ball to half forward. Hansen and Roberts-Thompson close, but the ball pitches actually on the boundary line and bounces out of play.
Interesting, the 50-metre penetrations that most of the football in the last part of this, or probably two-thirds of this quarter so far, has been from centre forward for West Coast.
9-12, the inside 50s for the quarter. Jolly knocks it down. Kerr was waiting again, dispossessed. Judd held up for dear life by Ablett as he threatened to steam through. And a bounce.
They're hanging on, Sydney. They're just hanging on and hanging on and hanging on. He gave away a free kick.
Yeah, a free kick. It was a little hard to say what it was for. Fosdyke with it. He kicks to the wing. Cousins makes the spoil and got it back from Selwood to Wirrapunda. And now to Green. Through the middle of the MCG. Kicks for centre half forward. Cox worked off the footy. Sampi hit the pack hard. Knocked two Swans over. Won the footy on the left to full forward. Hunter slides in. Can't take the mark. Cox with a spillage to Hansen. Kick smothered by Roberts-Thompson. Barry with a spillage. Hand pass was loose. Off the ground chick. Got it to Judd. Hand pass backward. Kerr has it. He'll kick into the pocket and find Hunter. Against the boundary.
Can kick it.
40 from goal.
Normally a good shot.
They fought to keep that ball in their attacking area, the Eagles, and the reward is a shot at goal.
They look exhausted, Sydney. They're standing on their haunches. They look exhausted, and so they should be. They defended very well.
Yeah, well, they do this, though, and then all of a sudden they spark up. West Coast looked like they were going at one stage. It's amazing when you start to score how good you feel about yourself.
Hunter starts in the gutter. Oh, it's a great kick. It's an unbelievably good kick. It's a goal. And would you believe the Eagles are within 2 points. 6-5 41 Sydney. West Coast 5-9-39 beyond the 25-minute mark of the third term.
Well, they've got the forward line restructured and set up. Isn't it amazing how all of a sudden how the midfield gets a lift? Knowing they don't have to belt the footy in. They've got their tails up because they know they've got different targets. They've now got confidence in Hunter. They've got confidence when Embley's down there. They've seen that Sampy's been able to give them a target. And a lovely little bonus for them, I think, is the fact that the bloke that we had dead and buried, Kerr, has started to pick up some significant touches.
2 points the margin, close to three-quarter time in the last minute. It's whipped away by Goods for Sydney. His kick inside the 50, wide. O'Loughlin gathers brilliantly. He was out. Was the ball in? No. The boundary umpire, who has run like a store gift runner around the arc of the boundary line, saw that it was out, and he'll throw it in on the join of boundary line and 50. 6-5 to 5-9. Swans by 2 points. Sydney's last goal, 17 minutes. Second quarter. They might have a goalless quarter, as the Eagles did in the second. From the boundary throw-in comes to Selwood. He's taken to ground in a vice-like grip, and the tackling in this game has been absolutely magnificent. Fosdyke was the tackler then. 20 possessions for Nick Fosdyke. Bounce by umpire Allen, 55 out. It's worked down to Fosdyke, and in ruck was Darren Jolly. And it was like the set play that resulted in the goal to Nick Davis in Sydney when the Swans pipped Geelong with 3 seconds to go. They're capable of it. It's getting close to siren time, but not the final siren, the three-quarter time siren. The bounce on the 50. Big hit out, won by Jude Bolton of Sydney. It comes down to Fletcher. He can't get a hand pass away. Dempster is there. Somehow works it to that man Davis. His kick smothered by Wirrapunda. Brilliance all over the ground. Wirrapunda taken to ground by Jude Bolton. It's Bills batted up the ground by Green to Banfield. And there is the siren for three-quarter time. What a quarter of football.
Now, Drewy, can I just jump in now? This is where the captains, the leaders, and both teams got to get round their teammates.
2 points over West Coast. Cox and Jolly to face off in the middle. A perfect bounce. Jolly wins the tap. Judd threatened to gain the footy. He will.
He finally got one.
He got one over the shoulder from Goods. He can send the Eagles forward. Cousins is on the break. It bounces at half forward. Cousins takes it. Has to hand pass over his shoulder. Green couldn't take it. Left it behind.
Didn't keep his eye on the footy.
Buchanan to Williams. The Swans are on a break. Hand pass to Crouch. O'Loughlin's the target. O'Loughlin's marked at 40 out. No angle to speak of.
Very bad blue by Casey Green. He had a look to see who was around. Not that he was worried about who was going to come at him, but it just meant he took his eye off the footy. He was worried about who the tackler is. He needed to go and get the footy. Not worry about the tackle. As a result, the ball's bounced, sat up the other way. West Coast look as if they're going to cause damage. Next minute's down the other end of the ground. It's O'Loughlin having a shot on goal.
The past 6 goals have been scored to the punt road ends. And that is to where Michael O'Loughlin will send this footy.
Generally a good kick for goal, but it has been a little bit inaccurate today.
He marches in and kicks from 48. It's off the side. It's right. It won't even make the distance. And Cox is able to take the mark for the Eagles.
Gee, that is some miss by Mickey O'Loughlin.
Unbelievable.
Dean Cox goes across the face of goal, and the mark is taken by Green in the back pocket. He kicks to defensive 50 where Nikoski, who kicked the first goal of the game. Mark Nikoski marks near defensive 50. Kicks it barely 15 metres to David Wirrapunda, close to the boundary line. It's Sydney 6-5 to the Eagles, 5 goals 9. The Swans by 2 points.
Show you how confident they were. There was only one Sydney player forward of O'Loughlin, and the rest, including Cox, were down at the West Coast end.
Wirrapunda's kick near the wing. It's kept alive by Chad Fletcher. His hand pass out in space, but it is chopped off here for Sydney by Jolly. Good hand pass to Williams. Kick by Williams. Oh, one-hander. What a clever mark by the veteran group, Banfield. Kick by Banfield, the centre half forward. Hanson on the lead. It bounces away from him. Going goalwards, though. He's caught by Robert Thompson. What a contest they've had today. It comes up the ground. Kennelly, the Irishman. Hand pass back to Craig Bolton. He clears the 50 for Sydney. Mark to Fosdyke.
He has a bounce and takes off around the southern wing. A second bounce for Fosdyke. Hauls his target. Closed down by Glass, who wins the footy. Hand pass might release Embley. Out in front of him, threw it onto the boot. Kicked it short to Hunter. Not 15. Swans players not aware. Hand pass inboard. Stenglein sends a high Hail Mary inside 50. Gardner can't take the mark at the fall of the ball. Sampi and Williams. Williams was desperate. It might go out of play in front of Kennelly. It does. There's been a huge moment here. Crouch is injured. He took himself off. Peter Bruckner.
Yes, Crouch has hurt his ankle, or just above the ankle, and really struggling. Limped off pretty badly. He's getting some treatment at the moment. We'll keep an eye on it.
Eagles deep in attack. They trail by 2 points. Boundary throw in. Gardner does battle. He swats it to the back. Needs a runner. Doesn't get one. Jolly throws it unscientifically onto the boot. It bounces on the southern wing. Barry Hall knocks it forward. O'Loughlin was dragged off it. Nikoski takes it. Breaks the tackle. Loads up inside 50. Ablett one-hander. It is the stage for heroics, and Ablett diffuses one attack.
Nephew of the great Gary. He kicks it. Is marked on the edge of the goal square. A kick by Luke Ablett straight to the opposition.
Was it? Who committed that crime 3 weeks ago?
I was thinking of Gabby Allen.
Well,
Cousins to put the Eagles in front. He kicks the goal, and West Coast lead the grand final by 4 points.
Well, it's been a tremendous contest.
Kicked the last 4 goals.
They have. The Swans goalless since half-time.
Swans had led since the 31-minute mark of the first quarter.
Jolie with a chance to drag it out of the ruck. He can't. Cox's kick is smothered. The scramble for the footy. Judd dispossessed by Ablett unfairly. Judd didn't have it. Judd forward of the middle with a free kick. He spends it quickly. Kerr at half forward. He wants to run on. He gets around Jolly. He moves to 50. He loads up all the way to the goal. Hunter! A centimetre inside the field of play. On the behind line. Hunter takes the mark.
He's just taken over the forward line, Hunter. Made it his own.
Jude Bolton off with blood streaming down his face. He actually gave away a free kick for getting his head cut.
Hunter on the most severe angle. They close from his right. He runs around. He kicks. He's kicked it.
It was touched, I reckon. That was touched. That was certainly touched. That's unbelievable because that was touched, that ball.
2 goals to Hunter. The Eagles by 10 points. 7-9-51. Sydney 6-5-41. The replay's about to come. Hunter moved around. Kennelly came at him. He got very low. Swans players were certain they'd touched it. The ball spun as if it hadn't been touched.
Yeah, but more importantly, we've talked about the Swans' heart, their character. Now it's tested. Now it is really tested. They're playing society, got the tails back to football. This is now where you just got to take the brave action, attack, and just get the footy in quickly.
The Eagles have kicked the last 5 goals of the game. Cox wins the centre, bounce in the middle. It comes down to Nick Davis of Sydney. He skirts around, gets the hand pass up to Matthews. His hand pass out wide, back to Nick Davis, who backs himself and wins. Kicks long to the attacking 50. Goods caught behind. The ball clears him. Adam Goods runs onto it. Bats the ball forward to his team's advantage. Down goes Buchanan. In goes Schneider. The 2 little men on the ground together in the forward pocket. It's a stoppage and a ball up. Peter Bruckner.
Good news for the Swans. Jared Crouch is coming back on the ground.
Bounce is won by Sydney. It comes to Buchanan. Has his kick smothered. And the ball off Goods over the boundary line and will have a throw in.
I haven't seen a game with this many smothers. I reckon there's been 20 for the game.
20
smothers.
Yeah, well,
it's been enormous.
That's the way it's played, isn't it? It's a one-on-one close in.
Eagles 7-9 to 6-5. Boundary throw in. Schneider takes the ball and is absolutely creamed straight away by Daniel Kerr. A split second after he got the ball, it is another ball up. It's 51 to 41. Eagles in front.
Gee, it was a great tackle because so often you see a tackle slip above the shoulders, but he just held his arm so strong.
Swans in attack. Jolly tapped it down. Selwood took it. Jolly late. The tackle, ball held in. And a bounce again.
Crowd at the grand final, 91,898. Clearly the biggest crowd of the season. The extra capacity at the MCG.
Cox is able to get a kick away from the bounce. Outside 50. Judd handed off the deck. Got his hand pass away. Gained 15 metres and put it out of play.
Takes a special player to do that.
Oh, Jared Crouch was a millimetre behind him, putting pressure on. He's picked it up. One-handed pick up off the ground.
Both were great. Both were fantastic.
Both were.
Boundary throw in near the interchange area. Cox just swats it away. Gains some meterage. There was a whistle. A whistle is a free kick to Sydney. Jolly can send it deep. Barry Hall's on the lead. He must mark. And he does mark. Not much of an angle here. And the mark is set 47 from goal.
Well, talk about captain's goals. When you need captain's goals, boy oh boy.
What a moment for Barry Hall. He's kicked 1 goal 1. This is within his repertoire. He closes on the 50 and lets fly. He got a lot of it. He got all of it. The Swans fight back. 7-5-47 Sydney. West Coast 7-9, 51 with a 4-point lead at the 9-minute mark of the AFL Grand Final on ABC Local Radio and Radio Australia.
Well, when questioned, Barry Hall answers. When questioned again and again, he keeps coming up with it. And the way he went back, he knew he had to kick it long, and he belted it long. But you've got to keep asking the question.
It breaks a run of 5 unanswered goals by the West Coast Eagles. From the bounce, it comes to Kerr. He goes to ground. Green gets a touch. It's hard to win a ball in there, and the umpire will ball it up again. Peter Bruckner, you've had a lot of work over there on the bench.
There's been plenty of action. Jude Bolton's had his cut patched up. He's back on the ground wearing the helmet, the Sydney helmet, in action again.
O'Loughlin Hall deep in the forward line. Everybody else out. All the small players up the ground, ready to run back at the fall of the ball.
Eagles by 4 points at the 10-minute mark of the last quarter. Cox wins the bounce, but it comes down to Sydney. The kick up towards the 50. Ground level. Hand pass goes to Barry Hall, who fends off and kicks a beautiful pass to the lead of O'Loughlin. And Michael O'Loughlin has marked 40 metres from goal.
This was a good test for Michael because he's kicked one from relatively close. He's missed one that he should have got, and the other one didn't even make the distance. And all his teammates thought he was going to make the distance. There's only Hall and about 2 or 3 Eagles players were in the goal square.
It's about the same distance.
Well, practically it's the same distance.
O'Loughlin to put the Swans back in front. Goes for goal.
Wow.
It's across the face.
What about
misses to the right
Can you
hand side.
describe the man on the marked
Something
action?
wrong with him, isn't
Yes, he did a handstand. Daniel Chick.
He did a handstand to put him off.
He did the old Mark Jackson.
You know, I thought Mick O'Loughlin would have run around him. Yeah, but I think he's that worried about the fact that he's not kicking. It's got into his head, Mick.
Oh, he's got a sore groin. Something's wrong there
I don't
for
think
sure.
he's played well at all.
Manfield into Nikoski, didn't quite find Fletcher. Deep in defence, has to wheel around and try to find a teammate. Chick is that man. A bouncing ball, an underground hand pass to Judd, who slipped over, left it behind. Recovered his own ball, a hand pass down the boundary line. And out of play, 65 from the Sydney goal.
That'll go down in history. They'll play that and replay that and replay that, the headstand, won't they?
Judd has had 26 disposals.
On 4 fingers.
That's right. Well, he didn't hold it long.
The boundary throw in. Cox and Jolly grapple. Jolly tries to knock it forward and goes a second time. Stenglein was caught with the footy the moment he took it. And it gets it in the back.
Yeah, interesting.
Can't work that out.
Interesting, because he was the one that made the play.
Gave his hand pass to Kerr, who floated round the back and then took off. He had 2 bounces around the southern wing. Ran out of space and kicks for Hanson and Roberts Thompson. Hanson, a one-hander. A one-hand juggler. 75 from goal, Ashley Hansen. He looks to full forward. Gardner comes out. Interference everywhere. Over the back. Staker. He's just got to gather. He didn't gather. By the time he got it, the Swans had him. He's held up 25 from goal. What a moment to pass for Staker.
It needed a Chris Judd.
Well, it's nervous times. I tell you what, it's...
The Eagles deep in attack, though. This bounce is set down. Gardner knocked it down. Buchanan took it, pushed away his man, took him on. Hand pass under pressure to Craig Bolton. Out wide to Williams. Through right half back. Had a bounce through the man. Ran his full measure. Inside 50. O'Loughlin's his home. He marked it. Kick it to Barry. Don't go for goal. Barry Hall's charging to the goal square. Mickey O'Loughlin's 50 out. Davis runs to a pocket as well.
He just doesn't back himself, does he?
No, he doesn't think he's got it in him.
You can actually make the distance here, O'Loughlin. There's no question. He's
not going to have a shot. He kicks poorly. Davis got half volleyed. And the Eagles with a chance to clear. Banfield with a hand pass to Nikoski.
It's like the day Mick McGuan had jabs and couldn't kick it 5 metres. Ball back near centre wing. A contest. Oh, in the back. Oh, no, the umpire says no. And he's going to ball it up just inside the boundary line. Great Southern stand side. What a grand final. The Eagles by 3 points at the 14-minute mark of the last quarter. West Coast 7-9 to Sydney 7-6. The bounce, Jolly and Cox. Cox wins, comes down to the helmeted Jude Bolton, who ducks under a tackle, but just took the ball over the boundary line in trying to beat the tackle, and we'll have a boundary throw in.
There are players cramping too. Number of players cramping.
I think there's a few spectators cramping too. Everyone on the edge of their seat. Cox wins a beautiful hit out. Oh, well done by Judd, but he's caught by Jude Bolton, loses it. Little hand pass comes out from Jolly to Crouch, back into the pack. Stenglein has it for the Eagles. Hand pass to Kerr. Kerr running out wide towards the wing. Stops and props. Kicks a poor one off the right towards half forward. And Embley's there. Tries to pick the ball back.
That was a good kick by Kerr, let me tell you.
I reckon the kick of Kerr was because he's probably got that many jabs in his leg. He couldn't feel it.
But he looked up and saw no options other than one-on-ones in the middle of the ground. So he's realised if there's a turnover there, we're in trouble. He's kicked it out wide.
Looks as though the jabs have worked. I thought he was dead.
Cox won the tap. Williams had his kick
Another smother for Marks.
Judd's in there and Stenglein, they pile in and another bounce.
Wasn't it? This is probably suiting the Eagles more than City at the moment because they've proven they can score from this situation.
Eagles by 3 points at the 15-minute mark. And at half forward at the City end, Cox tries to knock it clear of the congestion. Davis knocks it back in, gathered by Cousins. Onto the boot and inside 50. Dempster knocked it away. Kerr gathered. Kerr with a chance on the right from 40. Right to the square. Across the face and a behind. The Eagles lead us 4 points, 52 to the Swans 48.
Certainly lifted his ratings, doesn't he? Kerr,
Kick in by Williams to the 50, but Staker arrives late for the Eagles to take the mark. Wants to play on. Minded. Hand pass back to Hunter, who's dispossessed in a good tackle, taken by Dempster for Sydney. His kick back towards midfield. All Eagles. Cox runs onto it like a rover. Left foots the ball to half forward. Kerr up. Couldn't take the mark. Good spoil by Davis. A head clash. Down goes Cousins. The ball comes out to Banfield. Off the left goes through Banfield and hits the post. The left-hand goal post 4/5 of the way up. And the Eagles just can't quite get the break. Eagles 7-11 to 7-6. A 5-point margin at the 17-minute mark of the last term.
Osdike, who plays on and kicks to the northern wing. Ball is under it. He can't take the mark. Jude Bolton recovers well. Got his hand pass to Kirk. Kirk kicks for half forward. Glass and Hall. Glass made the spoil. Hall can't gather. He was held on to a long time. Cox is the extra man in. Got the hand pass to Fletcher. The kick was smothered. The turnover. Jude Bolton inside 50. O'Loughlin again. He must go back. He won't. Davis is on. 30 out. He closes. The kick had too much on it. Goods is there. Paddles close to the boundary. Can't work himself goal side. Out of play.
This has got to be his third or fourth on or just inside 50, and he won't take a chance. He's got to go for him. He's got to back himself.
Jude Bolton was going to the bench and had 2 possessions that he wasn't intending to get.
Boundary throw in, Swans deep in attack. Ball knocks at attacking side of the pack. Fletcher dispossessed. Davis goes to ground. Loose ball at the top of the goal square. Kirk piles in. Stenglein on top of him. They're trying to release it. The Swans, they can't.
And now Jude Bolton has decided, or they've decided to leave him back on, and he's 40 metres in the clear on the attacking 50.
There'll be 28 players around this bounce, 15 out from Sydney's goal. It's the Eagles by 5 points. Umpire McLaren sends it into the turf. Ball knocks it wide of the pack. Buchanan has it in traffic. He got it to the left and he put the Swans in front. I've seen that before. It happened at the SCG. It's the only reason they're here. Ball knocked it out of the congestion. You wouldn't believe you could find a man going past. He did, and Buchanan was good enough to get it onto the boot. It wobbled, it wafted, it drifted, it gold. 8-6-54 Sydney.
Centre bounce. He's playing his last game, looking for his second premiership. One with the Eagles and one with Sydney if they can win here today. The Swans lead by 1 point at the 19-minute mark of the last quarter. And Jason Ball has been sensational a few times in the ruck. Here's the secondary bounce at the circle. Ball gets another fist to it and does his own roving, but can't get it clear. It comes to Jude Bolton, who definitely was going to the bench and has now won a reprieve. His kick up towards half forward, fumbled by Barry Hall. It's taken by Glass. Bang, back to half forward. Cousins has the ball punched away. Selwood hacks it out of midair, gains 50 metres. Taken on the toe by Kennelly. Irish football, Gaelic football by Ty Kennelly. Sensational football. Up to Williams. The hand pass to Bozak. Back to Kennelly. Make yourself a hero, my boy. Ty Kennelly kicks into the 50. I'm not sure who that was going to. It's wide and it's knocked over the boundary line by Daniel Chick. And it's a boundary throw-in down towards the forward pocket. Kennelly, you'll be okay. Swans by a point.
I know it wasn't to Michael O'Loughlin because they're really worried about him getting the ball inside 50.
I think he saw him and said, nah, I'm not going there.
Swans in attack, they lead by a point. Seaby wins the tap this time. Goods closes on the footy. Fosdyke has it 48 out. He kicks it to full forward. O'Loughlin's there, knocked away by Chick. It'll carry the boundary. And it is out of play. 25 from the Sydney goal. Everywhere you look in the stands of this ground, there are pensive looks. There are kids who can't watch. They're in their dad's arms. Thrown in. Ball to the front. He won the tap again. Hand pass came out to Jude Bolton. Left foot snap. It's curling back. It didn't curl back enough. It is a behind. And it stretches the Sydney lead to 2. 8-7-55. West Coast 7-11-53. A memorable grand final on Grandstand AFL. On ABC, local radio and Radio Australia. It is the 21-minute mark.
And kicks a mile. Staker can't quite take the mark. It comes to Judd, who works it up the ground, but close to the boundary line and now over for a throw-in. But the Eagles have got the ball over half-back after their kick-in.
It's pacemaker territory. Check your pacemakers.
You can chew the tension. What a game. 91,898 watching and having a thrill a minute from the throw-in. It comes to Buchanan. He steers the pass and the mark is taken by O'Keefe, sliding in just behind Barry Hall, and O'Keefe is on the 50 right in front of goal.
Where's Cox? Why isn't he on? There's 5 minutes to go. He's the best rucker in the competition.
This is interesting, though, because how tight are the legs? From 50 metres, 5 weeks ago, just knocked over. 3 weeks ago, knocked over. We've seen so many players miss from just on 50.
Last week, Ryan O'Keefe had 10 marks and he was a star against St Kilda. Can he nail a grand final win for Sydney? He kicks off the left. It starts left, stays left, and misses left. His first score today is a behind. Will it be enough for Sydney, who lead by 3 points, 8-8 to 7-11?
There are 5 minutes of play remaining in the 2005 AFL season. We're a pundit to kick in. He goes terribly into the pocket. He missed his man. It's out on the full. It wasn't touched. It is going to be a Sydney free kick. That is how tight it is.
This will play on David's mind as well. I know there's only 5 minutes to go, but these sort of mistakes come to haunt players.
Paul Williams has the footy. Dean Cox returns to the field of play for the Eagles. The assignment is 40 metres from the gutter. Paul Williams desperately unsure. Paul led and he was ignored. Williams is almost committed to the shot at goal. Could the veteran be the hero? From 48, he gives it a good look and then it drifts away. It drifts through for a behind. And the lead is 4 points Sydney's way. 57 plays 53. 24 minutes gone.
Wirapanda again. I don't know that he'll go anywhere near the boundary line. We're not that close. Cox is back on. Offers the lead to the back pocket. Wirapanda does kick close to the boundary line, and he's looking for Chad Fletcher, who was stationary, and the spoil came from Eamon Buchanan, who ran and stretched the hammies late in the game to get there and spoil.
That's the sort of stuff you need from small forwards. Just really work hard, keep the ball in your forward line, give yourself another chance.
Boundary throw in inside the 50. Jason Ball this time against Cox. It's a far tougher task, but he works it down to Fosdyke. Hand pass, Jude Bolton keeps it alive. Well played by Bolton with the helmet. He snaps for goal from about 8 metres out, and it's right across the face and out of bounds on the full.
What about the Judd chase? Not many others would have got him. Wirapanda restarts play and he does it better this time. He finds Cousins. He'll go quickly outside defensive 50. Out in front of Nikoski. He gathers. Buchanan shuts him down. He wins the contest and the footy. He paddles for the boundary, Buchanan.
That's the first hold in the ball decision I've seen that's legitimate. Didn't get paid because he had every opportunity and look the way he gets rid of it.
Buchanan wins a boundary throw-in for the Swans in front of the Eagles interchange area. It's Sydney by 4 points. Ball in front, knocked it down. Cox will do the roving though. Hand pass to Judd, onto the boot and to the logo. Selwood and Fosdyke chase it. Goods takes it for the Swans. Hand pass to Matthews. Hugs the boundary with a left foot around the body kick. Wirapanda leads the chase. Schneider right with him. Wirapanda kept it in, went to ground, regained his footing. He kicks for the northern wing. No mark taken by Butler. Dempster ploughs on it to fall the ball for the Swans. He'll hold it in and there'll be a bounce.
4 goals scored a quarter. What do it go, Stan? 30 minutes?
Oh, very lucky, I think. I'd say 29.
Oh, that's a game.
Yeah.
2 goals each this term.
I don't want to sit on the fence.
4-point lead to Sydney. Towards the boundary line, Fletcher gathers near the interchange at centre wing. He kicks to half forward. Kerr at the back has a couple of touches but can't win possession. It's won by the Swans. The hand pass comes to Williams.
Gee, this bloke's been good.
Fosdyke has been absolutely excellent for Sydney. Bolton has a good contest with Cousins. It comes to Schneider of Sydney. Gets the hand pass away, but it's a stray taken by Wirapanda. It looks as though he's got plenty of time. A high ball to the half-forward line. Embley up. Couldn't take the mark. All Sydney ground level. Crouch. You can't. He's indestructible. You can't break this man. It comes to Kirk, who in beating the tackle goes over the boundary line and will have a throw-in. 27 minutes gone, last quarter. Eagles 53, but Sydney lead by 4. They're 57.
We're past the 27-minute mark. Boundary throw-in. Cox knocks it forward for the Eagles. Buchanan didn't take possession. He's run back to defensive 50. Now with a hand pass boundary side. Nick Davis gathers against the boundary, over the boundary. A boundary throw-in, 70 from the Eagles' goal.
Last quarter went 27-50.
This is at 27-40. The Swans by 4 points. Cox brought it down. Cousins tried to knock it on. He couldn't. Davis gathers the loose footy for the Swans. Held up in a Kerr tackle. They pile in. Ball jars free. Davis paddles it out of play. The boundary throw in.
The listeners probably don't want to know, but there's nobody in the Swans forward line.
If you want to win this one, you're going to have to earn it, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right.
This is life or death.
Well, 80 seconds left, shouldn't he?
Half forward for the Eagles. Cox knocks it wide of the congestion. Banfield gives it to Fletcher. Fletcher to centre half forward. Embley. It bounces before it reaches in. Clean hands, Embley. Works his way onto the right. Inside 50 at mark. Cut off. Kirk for the Swans. Diving mark.
Embley should have given the handball.
Handball off, yes.
He should have handball. He had a teammate facing the goal.
There's no time. There's time off there because
Kirk's had 21. A diving mark, which gives a reprieve for the Swans. They lead by 4 points. 28 minutes gone, Drew Morford.
A hero from North Albury. What a defensive mark. He goes out wide to Paul Williams. The kick by Williams to Goods, just inside the boundary line. That's got to be 50.
Yes.
He took the mark and stake it decked him front on. And that might decide the game because Adam Goods will take a bit of time. And the ball, instead of being on the wing, will be at half forward for Sydney, who lead by 4 points.
I reckon the runner has just gone out to say something about time somehow, so I reckon it's getting... We don't... Stan, you're gone. It's 29-17. You're out.
19 possessions for Adam Goods.
Goods is quite capable of kicking this. Here's a long kick.
Man on the mark who gave away the 50 is on the 50. Adam Goods kicks from 54 metres. He's given it plenty, but it's away to the left-hand side, and they're still not safe. They lead by just 5. The Eagles could go the length of the ground and kick a goal, but we've played 29 minutes and 47 seconds. Is there time?
Once down the ground for the Eagles. Banfield pumps it in long. Marking contest. Spills to the back. Swans with numbers. Crouch trying to get it to the boundary. Embley right with him. Embley takes Crouch out of play and the clock stops.
Great work by Crouch. That's all he had to do. He had to work it towards the boundary, hold it up, get another contest started again.
Sydney by 5 points, 30 minutes played. It's inside a kick in the final moments of the grand final. The Eagles must win the clearance and win it decisively. Cox with a punch. It volleyballs around. Kirk tries to bring it down. Buchanan holds it up. Mid-front on by Kerr. On the logo. Umpire tried to let it go. Time on is blown. A bounce at the logo under the southern stands. Sydney fans out of their seats saying, blow the siren. They're in front. The Eagles...
There's 30 gone.
Have got to be desperate. Cox got his hand to the footy again. It just can't clear the congestion. It bobbles around. Judd tries to wrench it clear, and the moment he took possession, he was taken to ground.
It's amazing how the umpire's
now behind.
Sorry. It's amazing how the umpire now calls time off.
31 now.
Doesn't do it any time during the game.
Oh, don't get on umpires back again, Nick. You get another 5,000.
On the southern wing, Sydney by 5 points. A bounce. Both ruckmen go to ground. Jude Bolton will hold it up. He takes the tackles. He lets them bury him. Another bounce. Scott McLaren holds his right arm aloft. He blows time on. It's at the logo under the southern stand. 31 minutes and 30 seconds have expired.
Got to have it. Got to go now.
The bounce again. Jude Bolton knocked it down to Kerr. Kerr with a hand pass to Cousins. Is there time? Cousins inside 50. They need a mark. Embley's at the front. No mark taken. Pull the ball. They dive on it. Leo Barry's desperate. Staker paddles it out. Embley with a wide hand pass. Cousins shut down. Embley's there. Banfield's there. The kick to full forward. A Hail Mary. Hunter's in the back. They all fall. McCoskey's in the back. Full the goal.
That's it.
Got there. Rushed behind.
That's the greatest point he'll ever score.
Rushed behind by Ty Kennelly at the 32-minute mark.
Hang on, son. What's he doing?
Kicks into the back pocket. Leo Barry takes the mark. A 4-point game. Sydney clinging to the lead. 32 minutes gone. Barry going to the Cricketers Club side of the ground. He kicks long. Why wouldn't you? But they don't want to turn the ball over. Oh, the mark has been taken by Cox. Cox inside the 50. The Eagles need a mark. A big pack.
Kennelly.
Leo Barry. Leaping Leo has saved the day for the Swans.
That's it.
It's all over.
What a mark.
Sydney
What a mark.
have won on the mark of the day by Leo Barry. And the Swans for the first time since 33.
we will talk about the Leo Barry mark. With a second or two left on the clock, a ball 20 metres from the Eagles' goal, a contest, and he has taken the mark of his life.
And the most relieved man, Luke Eblett.
Oh, yes. After his pass across in front of goal, intercepted by Cousins. Channel 10.
No, I knew we had to take a contested mark down there just to control the tempo, and we did that, but it was a fucking great win.
The road has been so long and so hard. To go to Perth initially and lose, then come back to Sydney against Geelong. How have you kept going?
Mate, they're a fantastic bunch of guys. We totally deserved the win today. It's been a fantastic season, so we'll look forward to it. G'day, Sarah, love ya. All the boys, Carmen in the UK. Great to know, North Queensland.
Leo Barry on Channel 10. 2 more for the final score in a memorable grand final.
What a grand final. Among those out on the ground, Paul Kelly, a Sydney's Brownlow medalist. Barry Round, another Brownlow medalist for Sydney. But they couldn't win the flag with those heroes. They have won it this time by 4 points. 8-10-58 to the Eagles, 7-12-54. And one of the first handshakes I saw was Andy Demetrio shaking the hand of Paul Roos. What a comeback. Paul Roos criticised for his style of play. It couldn't win finals football, and the man who was voted into the position by the players and the public has got him a flag.
The Swans conceded the lead in the final term. Cousins and Hunter kicked the first 2 goals of the term, and the Eagles led by 10 points. Barry Hall gold, Buchanan gold from a stoppage at the top of the square, courtesy of Jason Ball. And from there, they built their lead from 1 point to 2